Give you one shot. That's it. Sycamore Meadows versus Jamaica Smith.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Attorney Carrie Bain, 7-3. I believe Miss Terrell is on Zoom.
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Good
State your
afternoon.
appearance.
Hello, Emily Brewer, PA8273 on behalf of Ms. Smith.
Actually, plaintiff moves for dismissal without prejudice, and I emailed your staff already a copy of that dismissal.
Any objection to the dismissal?
No, Your Honor.
We'll get it. Dismiss that without.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Let's call the case of Sycamore Meadows versus Tamara Jackson.
Carrie Cannon on behalf of plaintiff. They are not, Judge. The only ones.
Tamara Jackson. They're not here.
They are not.
Oh,
Problem is I don't have an updated ledger.
I'm sorry.
Problem is I don't have updated ledgers. So as much as I would love to do that, I don't know that it's fair.
So
So
you want,
an adjourn date, if that's okay.
we have work scheduling. I have 1 week and then I have 4 weeks, basically.
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
All right.
I don't believe, because I spoke with management on the way here. I did, and the system's not up, so I don't know that a 1 week is gonna help me.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Adjourn the matter May 16th, 2025 at 2 p.m.
Thank you, Judge.
Court calls case of Sycamore Meadows versus the Chanel. Oh,
Again, Carrie's in on
Hi,
behalf
I'm
of
here.
plaintiff.
My phone is a little blurry. I'm here.
hello. Miss-
Hi, I'm supposed to be in person.
I
Sorry.
know. Okay.
You see
I have
me?
the same
Mike,
dilemma. I know,
can y'all-
Hang on, Miss Phelps. Hang on.
I know that she's applied for some assistance. and-
Okay,
And I'm stuck in so I would ask for a May 16th date, if that's okay, Judge.
all right. So Miss Phelps,
Yes, can you hear me?
so that all of the numbers can get together, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjourn this to May 16th, 2025 at 2 p.m.
Okay,
Okay.
that's not a problem, but I do have a quick question though, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just got my phone fixed. I waited 10 days. I got it today at 11 a.m. I couldn't get in my email, but I had contacted SOS on Wednesday and also Sycamore Meadows. So SOS is willing to help me, but they need every document they're asking for, and I have everything but Sycamore Meadows showing my last 6 months of non-payment, and their computer system is still down. So what do I do?
So what they want is, so SOS needs a ledger, right?
Yes.
And that's precisely why we're adjourning it out. Council's let me know that they're trying to get all of that together so they can get it there.
Okay. So May 16th,
Okay.
2 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sycamore Meadows versus Denisha McCoy.
Again, Carrie's in on behalf of plaintiff. Judge, I would ask for the May 16th date on this one as well.
Ms. McCoy, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm at work. I'm here.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
He has applied for assistance as well.
You've applied for assistance, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that they can get all the information to SOS or Hawk. I'm gonna adjourn this out to May 16th, 2025 at 2 p.m.
Okay, I had something to say though about the maintenance repairs. I haven't had hot water in almost a month and I've been putting in repairs and legal aid putting in repairs as well.
I have a new phone number for her to call.
Okay, hold on. There's a new phone number for you to call regarding that, okay? Council's trying to
Okay,
get that.
'cause I
to
would
you.
have thought that they would have sent out notices.
Okay, hold
with
on.
any
Just hold on.
information.
Hold on. Yeah.
734-642-2721.
Okay.
2721.
Yes.
All right. So ma'am, did you get that?
Yes.
Okay, 734-642-2721. Okay? Give
right.
them a call and let them know, okay?
Okay, thank
I'll
you.
do the same, Judge.
Thank you.
I'll do the same too.
All right. And council's gonna also let them know, okay?
Okay.
So can I be still on your order today?
Thank you.
All right, bye. Thank you.
Sycamore Meadows versus Tyrod LaFleur.
Again, Carrie Zanon on behalf of plaintiff, and Mr. LaFleur is approaching. Mr. LaFleur has also applied for assistance.
He's applied for assistance and we're working on trying to get that information to them, right?
Yes.
You understand all that, sir?
Yes.
All right, good. I don't have to repeat it. Appreciate you listening. May 16, 2025, 2 p.m.
Thank you.
All right, take care of yourself.
Have a nice holiday weekend, Your Honor.
You do the same. Sorry, she has one more. Oh, yes, you have one more, Ms. Zena.
I do.
Sycamore Meadows versus Erica Jimerson.
Again, Carrie Zanon on behalf of plaintiff. Ms. Shemerson has an assistance application in as well.
They're threatening to end my application because of this process.
What do you say?
They're threatening to close my application because it's taking too long. I got an email from Autumn.
Your Honor,
Yes, go ahead.
You need to get back to your caseworker.
I emailed her, but she
Oh.
came back to and told me.
All that.
Okay. And I'm also legally and medically underhoused because Sycamore is making up numbers that don't make sense.
What do you mean?
I'm legally underhoused. I have 4 boys inside of a 2-bedroom. I sleep in the basement. And my son has sickle cell. His doctor sent the note in that says we need to get a 3-bedroom, but because they can't get their numbers together, we're still in the same house. And I have 3 different ledgers with 3 different numbers.
Write this phone number down. And call Carla. 732
Okay, she's gonna give you a number to call.
642 2721.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Oh, you're done.
Thank you, Judge.
Pardon? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Again, have a nice holiday weekend.
Okay, you too. Arbor Manor versus, is it Colony? It says Franklin, without the end.
Good afternoon, Judge Paul
Good
Hughes,
morning.
31986, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
Your name?
Kalani Franklin.
There's an N in there, right? In your
Yes.
last name?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, because they've got it different. Okay. All right. How much is owing on this case?
Judge, the current balance is $1,700. No payment has been made since we took the judgment.
This is your motion to set aside?
Yes, sir.
All right, what's the basis of you setting aside? Let me look. So let me ask you this, how are you intending on getting, I understand that you don't want to be evicted.
Mhm.
But how much is your monthly rent?
$979 or
Okay, you
970.
pay all that on your own?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how are you intending on trying to get this paid? If we were to set this aside?
I do work full time. I'm a customer service representative from home. I work from 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock p.m. I have been picking up overtime. So I start at 7 o'clock from Monday through Friday. And I get paid weekly. So I plan on using all of my checks from this point moving forward to pay towards my rent, to get ahead of my rent. And I have $200 to pay them today.
So you have 200 today,
Yes, sir.
and then you're gonna have another check coming on the 20, you said you get paid every week.
Yes, Your Honor.
So on the 25th, how much are you gonna be able, you think, to pay?
So I think I'll be able to pay around 500. That's how much I usually get paid a week. After taxes.
Got it. So. That'd be 7 plus 2. All right, so here's gonna be part of our problem. All right, have you applied for any assistance at all?
No, I get EBT.
Okay, but have you applied through SOS or anything to get some assistance, try to help you pay this?
No, sir.
All right, because of when I look at this, what I'm thinking is there's a big hump that you've got to get over,
Yes, sir.
but you're gonna have a problem doing that because I'm about to click into May,
What does that mean?
meaning that your May rent is gonna become due.
Yes.
Okay, and so if you pay this, so I've got 220. So I've got 200 in escrow. You got another 200 today. You think you might have about 500 by next Friday.
Yes.
That's 900,
Yes.
but that's just gonna be basically your rent. And
Correct.
then come May 1st, you're gonna be back up at this $1,700 number.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so my point to that is that you gotta find a way. We gotta try to find a way to get that clear. If you're working like you are right now and you continue to work, if this can get clear, then you're gonna be good. I mean, because you'll be able to.
Start
That
paying
make
on
sense to
time.
you?
Yes, Your Honor. It
That
makes,
makes sense to you?
yes.
Okay, so have you talked, you've not applied to Hawk at all?
No, but when you came on the screen, I did take down those numbers for DHS to apply for the assistance.
Okay, but did you call Hawk SOS? The
No,
961-1999 number?
no.
Okay,
But I will call them.
okay, so you have 200 today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you have that in cash?
It's on my card.
It's on a card?
Yes,
Okay, so what I want you to do is get over to your landlord, pay the 200.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm also going to release the 200 we have in escrow, Mr. Hugh, to your client. That's gonna be at least 400 of that. If you pay 500 on the 25th, I'm gonna be at about $1,000 figure. We'll have to figure something out.
Okay.
Okay, but I want you to call Hawk today.
Okay. And it's Hawk SOS, correct?
Hawk SOS, yes.
Okay.
961-1999, or you may be able to just speak with Amy.
Okay. Okay.
I should have thought of that, but,
Okay.
all right, so what I'll do is I'll adjourn this out 1 week to the 25th. The motion, and then we can figure out where we can go from there and try to see if we can get you caught up.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you, Your Honor.
25th at 1 PM.
Okay.
Hopefully
You're
she'll
welcome.
be able to
Thank-
make the 25th payment before the hearing.
Right, so the 500 that you get, the check that you get, are you gonna be able to get that to the landlord prior to 1 PM on the
Yes, Your Honor.
25th? All right,
Yes.
get it into them as soon as you can,
Okay.
so we know exactly what figure we're looking at,
Okay.
all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. How old's the little one?
She's about to be 2 in May.
2,
Yeah, she'll be 2 May 23rd.
May 23rd.
Yes.
Been really quiet.
Yeah, she's asleep.
She's sleeping?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I wish I was. All right.
You too. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good
Take
one.
care. Talk, you too. Talk to Amy over here, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Forrest Knoll versus Dana Lynch.
Paul Hughes, P 31986, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff, requesting that this matter be dismissed without prejudice at plaintiff's request. She's paid
Ms. Lynch?
her payment.
Yes. I'm sorry, Mr. Hughes, you were saying?
She paid what was owed and we received the payment this morning.
Ah. So, Ms. Lynch, you have no objection to dismissing this case, do you?
No.
Al said she got that big old smile and said no. All right. This case is dismissed. You have a great weekend.
You too as well.
Court does call the case of Forrest Knoll versus Audrey Turner.
Paul Hughes, P 31986, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff, requesting that this matter be dismissed without prejudice at plaintiff's request. The defendant has vacated.
Case is dismissed. That's without prejudice. I think that's it for you, sir.
Yes, it is. Have a good weekend, holiday weekend.
You do the same, sir. All right, where'd Miss Lacy go? They need more time, then tell them no. Yeah, I'm just sorry, no. So who are all these? Are they waiting in my next block? Sir, you know what? Sometimes people do things or don't do things, and usually I'm in a position where when somebody does something bad, I have to correct them. But when somebody does something good and thoughtful, I also like to mention it. I appreciate you getting up off of your seat to make sure that young lady and her baby could get through that door.
Yes, sure.
All right.
Every day. This is my system every day wherever I go.
I got you. All right, thank you.
They said 3 minutes.
3 minutes. I don't know where they came up with 3 minutes. All right, so you're waiting on what, sir?
Sitting on levels. Jeremy Rawls.
Jeremy Rawls? Is he on? 'Cause
I don't believe so. Oh, it was adjourned previous to the May 16th.
it was adjourned.
Yeah, there's a civil order filed.
Are you represented by legal services? Okay, they adjourned your case out to May 16th. Because, yeah, so I think what happened, it was the same as those other ones when they were coming up. Did you apply for assistance?
I did and I got denied. Got to reapply again, but it's because of the ledger. So
Yeah, and so I'm not sure what's going on, but with the new management, they're trying to get all that together and get it right. Okay. All right, thank you. You have a great weekend.
have a blessing.
Yep. And you're with whom? Is that the next block? That's the next block, okay. Young lady, you're,
Oh, that's the one we're waiting on.
oh, you're, okay, all right. You're the one I'm waiting the 3 minutes that now they have 2. Is legal services on?
Yeah.
Oh. You still have 30 seconds.
That's all right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're ready.
All right. Court recalls the case of Park at Sagebrush versus Marissa Escobedo and Christopher Knock.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Gabriel Lacy, 79685 for plaintiff.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Gail Rosen on behalf of Ms. Escobedo.
All right.
Thank you for your patience.
Oh, sometimes it's all I have. All right. What are we doing?
So I do believe we have come to an agreement where we're going to enter a conditional order of dismissal or consent order for conditional dismissal.
All right.
Where the defendant will pay a total amount of $332 on or before April 23rd, 2025. And that number comes from $100 in outstanding rent. She did submit a significant check yesterday.
Okay.
$232 in court costs, leaving a total balance of $332. And that she'll pay on or before April 23rd, 2025. And then the defendant's lease is up April 30th. However, she has indicated that she may need to stay at least until the children are out of the school year, which is the end of June. My client has offered to waive the $400 month-to-month fee and allow her to stay until June 30th if she pays the rent timely. However, the conditional dismissal will be written if the defendant chooses to stay beyond April 30th. The $400 month-to-month fee will be waived for May and June, and the defendant shall give a 30 days notice upon vacating, before vacating.
Okay, so if she stays to the end of June, she's got it by May 31st, basically give you notice that she's staying in June.
Correct.
Okay. And if she doesn't pay her rent timely?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
If she doesn't pay her rent timely, immediate writ to issue, and we are waiving the 56-day rule.
All right. Is this Mrs. Escobedo?
It is, yes.
Come on up, it's your case. Your name, ma'am? All right, did you understand the terms that were stated? You need to take the inside of your.
Sorry.
It's okay. You understood the terms? Okay. And I know that you have counsel, and I think. Ms. Rosen, is that the full terms of the conditional order dismissal?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and she has indicated that she understands all of that, is clear with that. All right, I take it you guys don't have that right now, right?
Working on it.
Okay, so once I have it, I'll mark the file conditionally ordered dismissed, since both counsel are represented by counsel. I'll sign off when I receive it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's it. Okay, that's it. We will be back shortly to continue to the next block. Court stands in recess.
State of Michigan is now back in session. The honorable judge is introduced to preside.
You may be seated. Court does call the case of DJK Ann Arbor versus Brian Hughes.
Judge Dan Shemke appearing on behalf of DJK.
Your name, sir?
Brian Hughes.
All right. All right, this is a termination of tenancy. Case. And where are we on this matter?
Judge, we're ready to proceed. When we were last here, Mr. Hughes was given an opportunity to have some extra time to retain counsel.
Yes.
Based on his appearance here today, I see no counsel, so we'd like to proceed.
Sure.
Correct.
All right. The basis for the termination is?
Failure to pay rent. It's a 30-day notice.
I'm not. Is there a lease?
Actually, there is no lease, Judge. The lease expired and he's been month to month since then.
Is that correct, sir?
I guess I've never signed anything.
Okay, so by law, you would be a month to month or tenancy at will or sufferance. There is a 30-day notice. What's your defense, sir, to their request that you vacate the premises?
Pardon me, sir?
What's your defense?
As far, I don't understand.
Meaning, why do you think that they should be, that I shouldn't grant them a judgment for possession of the premises?
I mean, I've been working on trying to get out. I've been living there 15 years. I have a lot of stuff acquired. I don't have any really where for it to go. I rented a storage unit, started putting things into it. I have a truck and a boat that I am trying to get rid of. I have nowhere for it to go. You know, I'm not like not leaving the premises, but I'm also just trying to gather everything, and I have no help. I have nobody helping me move things. You know, my mom hired a moving company to take out the large stuff, you know, beds, things that I can't move by myself.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How long would it take you to vacate the premises? You think?
I mean, this whole time this has been going on, I honestly have been working on it. I've been trying to get out and, you know, get what stuff I can. I don't really want to leave, you know, like a mess. I'm
Right.
with no choice really, like, you know, there's just a lot of things that I have over 15 years. You know, I had 2 kids live there. So I just, you know, I'm working on it.
Okay, but it's come down to a point that I would grant them a judgment. What I'm trying to do, if I just gave you the standard period in time, it'd be 10 days from today. But that sounds to me like what you're saying would be not enough time for you.
I mean, honestly, it wouldn't, but if that's what it came down to, I mean, I would remove
All right,
myself and, you know, what I can take, but, Yes, sir.
So listen to my question.
Yes, sir.
How much time do you think you need to get yourself out of the premises with your things?
30 to 60.
Okay, 60 is not gonna happen, 30 is probably not gonna quite happen either.
Okay.
Okay. Today's what, 18th.
Judge, the only thing I would say is that this process has been ongoing since before the beginning of the year. So I'd ask you to take that into
You did
consideration.
take a vacation though, and you couldn't come to court because you had prior obligations for a vacation, so.
I did request an adjournment because I
Right.
did have a family vacation, but that was back in March.
That's done.
We're all done.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm just trying to give this gentleman, he says he's been there 15 years, had 2 kids. I get what he's telling me. I understand your client wants their property back, but I also understand that he's trying to get his things out of there. And so,
I understand, Judge. And you know that I had to say that, so there we are.
well, you didn't have to, but here's what I'm gonna do, sir. Normally, the date that would be given would be April 28th. Okay. I'm going to grant a judgment finding no tribal issue for possession. Writ to issue May 10th or thereafter.
May 10th.
Give you some 12, 14 days extra on that. Okay. May 10th, 2020. All right.
Very good, Judge.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
It's a pleasure.
Good luck to you, sir. Court does call the case to Mariloma LLC versus Rosalind Stovall.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Destiny Hughes on behalf of the plaintiff.
No, yeah, I got you, but you tried to leave that little one back there.
It's my grandson.
No, I'm not. Yeah, he was on his way up and then he said, no, I'm not going up there. And then they said, he's gonna leave him back there and he's just looking at he's looking at the pews going, I don't know any of these people. All right. Okay. This is a termination of tenancy. And where are we on this case?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Since our last hearing, defendant indicated again that she wants to buy the property with my client. My client was open to the idea, so the parties entered into a settlement agreement. And part of that settlement agreement was a consent judgment of possession to be entered today. Because under the settlement agreement, defendant was supposed to purchase the home from my client by today's hearing. That hasn't happened yet, but my client's still willing to work with defendant. So we've offered an amendment to the settlement agreement where the consent judgment of possession still enters today, but we are extending the timeline for an order of eviction, for seeking an order of eviction. So under the new settlement agreement consent judgment, my client would not be able to seek an order of eviction until May 16th to give the client and her lender more time to close on the purchase transaction.
Okay. Is that a correct statement of the agreement?
Yes, it is.
All right, so I'm just trying to think on how to fashion this. So,
They were supposed to have had the loan, I don't know the process and stuff, but they were supposed to have had everything processed and done by today, but they didn't. And so I gave them their information. I was like, hey, I'm supposed to have had that money in their thing today. So we went into the agreement saying, hey, if you guys just give us a little more time here, we're almost done. We gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do that.
and that's by May 16th.
Yes, Your Honor, and we have a consent judgment drafted and signed by both parties. Yes.
All right. Let me see that.
If you want to look at it to make sure it's the one you signed. No, I know it is. Okay.
Stovall.
Can I ask you a question while you're looking it over?
Sure.
Okay, I have a nephew named Maurice Stovall who says that a sheriff called him and said, hey, did you know your house was in foreclosure, it's being sold, and that eviction was done? But he's nowhere on deed, my lease or anything like that. So would that be a correct statement that someone, a sheriff would have contacted him? Because I don't even know how he would have gotten his phone number or his name for that matter, because he's nowhere on any.
It's impossible for me to answer that.
Okay.
And I don't know what somebody would potentially do. But I guess my only is there another part of the settlement agreement that's not part of this? Is there?
I have a copy of the settlement agreement and the amendment to the settlement agreement, if that's what you're talking about, Your Honor.
Yeah, what I'm trying to make sure, because what's not contained in here is it references that settlement agreement, but I just want to make sure that the right to purchase exists, because it doesn't exist specifically in here. You know what I mean?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
The top one is the amendment and the one on the bottom is the original settlement.
Okay. And I don't need to necessarily have copies of those in the file. I just want to make sure.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. All right. So, Ms. Stovall, you're not represented by counsel. You read this over, you understand
Yes, I
it?
did.
All right. And do you have any questions regarding this consent judgment?
No.
The company's that? You're gonna be good on all that?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I will indicate that and enter the consent judgment in this case. Okay. All right. Thank you, folks. Thank you for working it out. You guys have a great weekend.
Thank you
As
too.
well, happy Easter.
Yes, and to you. Hey, little guy, what's your name?
Tell me your name.
Said, oh, no. No, don't, I wouldn't talk to him. Talk to me.
Talk to the sir.
Well, what's your name? Deshaun?
Christian.
That's a good name. Good, strong name. He says, I'm out of here, man. I gotta go. All right.
Your Honor, if I may, will we receive copies of the consent judgment in the mail or?
We would normally mail them out, the clerk's office.
That is correct. Okay, great.
They'll
Thank
mail
you.
them. All right, take care. Court does call the case, Willow Ridge Apartments versus, is it Berthano? Abdallah?
Good afternoon, Your Honor, Sidney Kiratz on behalf of plaintiff.
Sir, come forward. What's your name?
Burhanu Abdullah.
And where are we on this case?
Your Honor, there's still a balance due. There's currently a balance due, including April rent of $1,824, $175 of costs for a total of $1,999, $1,999.
Yeah, that's for the next month.
Pardon?
That's for the next month. I already paid everything beside the next month. I have the next month balance only, which is current right now.
When was it
So
paid?
you paid this amount?
Yes, I paid total $3,271.19 as of today. So everything.
Oh, you paid about 3,000 plus.
Yeah.
Which would be this month and next.
No, the next month is still not due yet.
Right.
Till the first, but as last time I came to the court, as I promised, I paid everything, including $1,471, and then for today is $1,800.
You paid 1,800.
1,800, correct.
Okay, so you're still gonna be a little bit short. So you paid the 18 today?
Yes.
Your Honor, if we
So
can
what was-
wait until next week, my client's office is
Yeah.
closed today.
Got it. That'd be fair enough. So what I'm gonna do, sir, is I'm gonna adjourn your case out to the 25th, 2025 at 2 p.m. Okay? So exactly how much did you pay?
Total as of
No, the second payment, how much did you pay?
1,800,
1,800 even?
correct.
So what you're gonna be is about 100, you're gonna be about $200 short, which is really probably the cost of the case.
Yes, okay,
So you'll need to pay, if you can, pay them an additional 200 by the
Yeah.
25th, if you can do that.
sure. I didn't know, Your Honor, that was add up after maths, after I came to the court. So,
No, I know, but what they've got, they don't have the 18 right now. Okay, but they've got 1,999 that you owe.
okay,
They have it. I believe you. It's just, he can't check with his client.
okay,
So, but given the number that Mr. Katz has given me,
okay.
you're about $200 short.
Sure, okay,
So if you get that $200 in and they can verify it, if you get that in as soon as possible,
okay,
they may dismiss this case before you have to come back.
sounds good.
Okay? Sound good?
Yes,
And Your Honor,
All
based
right.
on the circumstances, I think if he can appear via Zoom instead of having to come in person.
Yeah, that's fine. He likes coming down.
Okay, just I figured.
All right, no. All right. If he fills out the form, I'll let him appear
All
via
right.
Zoom. All right, sir. Thank
so
you.
when's it gonna be? I'm sorry, Your Honor.
The 25th at 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Yep.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Willow Ridge Apartments versus Maya Hines.
Hello, Your Honor.
Oh, there's Miss Hines. Okay, and where are we on this case?
Your Honor, there's currently a balance on this one of $5,617 total. That includes costs, Your Honor, 5,617.
Ms. Hines, how were you intending on trying to get that paid?
So I did have a Hawk appointment yesterday, and they said that they will be able to pay the 3,000. So my remaining balance will be like 2,100, including next month's rent. I did get cleared from my doctor today to go back to work, so I go back to work today. So I was trying to see if we can work a payment plan out for that 2,100.
Do you know if your client's open to that, counsel, or no?
I don't know. I mean, how much is she getting from Hawk?
3,000.
She would be getting the 3,000, but there'd have to be something worked out regarding the additional balance prior to that 3,000 being paid.
And it would leave a balance of 2,600 based on my client's.
Right,
So,
basically about 2,600.
Your Honor, let's do this, because when are you going to find out from Hawk, Ms. Hines?
I'm sorry.
Do you have?
Did they confirm the payment? That
Yes,
they're
they
paying it?
said that they'll pay it, but they want to see something in writing that you guys will let me work out a payment plan and pay the rest. Since
Well-
I'm just not being able to go back to work.
When could you pay the remaining balance by? Because what's going to happen is in 2 weeks, we're back into May.
Right. So I go back to work today. So we just started a new pay period this week. So I will have a check on the 3rd, and then I can probably pay 1,800 on the 10th. I think that's the
I'll give till the 10th, Your Honor, on a consent. And have we confirmed the Hawk payment?
Well, that won't. Is that going to be the full amount, though?
It's the
I mean, I understand what you're
2,600.
doing.
She said she'll pay on the 3rd and pay on the 10th, correct?
Yes.
And
So how much on the 3rd?
I can pay 1,000 on the 3rd, and then on the 10th, probably another 1,000.
So about, yeah, that's what I thought she kind of indicated. So it's gonna be short.
So 17th, are you gonna get another check on the 17th, Ms. Hines?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Your Honor, I'll go out to the 17th. This will at least trigger that Hawk payment.
Okay.
And then, she's gonna have to work out with my client, making sure that she catches up, because we'll be far into May at that point.
All right. So what I'll do, ma'am, is I'll enter judgment for possession for that total amount of $5,617 with, and I'm doing that by no tribal issue after hearing, with a writ to issue May 17th or thereafter.
And Your
Okay?
Honor, I'm not gonna include any of those payments as long as the payment's made in full by the 17th, then we're good. I'm not gonna create trigger.
Okay. That'd be fine. Okay, so you just gotta make sure you get that money in and get it arranged with Hawk to make that payment, okay, ma'am?
Okay, I will.
All right, thank you,
Thank you. Have a good weekend and happy Easter.
and to you. Is that it from, no, Six Trails versus Jillian Fox.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, Sidney Katz again. Yeah.
Hello,
Good afternoon,
what's your name?
Jillian Fox.
All right, where are we on this case?
Your Honor, this is second hearing. There's currently a balance of $2,752, 2,752. That amount includes costs.
All right.
I am working with Hawk. I had my first appointment yesterday with them. I have a follow-up appointment, I believe this upcoming Wednesday with them, and I do believe that they will be covering that amount, and I will have next month's on
So you
time.
had him, you had the initial with Hawk and you've got something coming up this Wednesday?
Yes, sir.
All right. Given that, and that's under the 3,000, I'm going to adjourn this out to the 25th, 2025 at 2 p.m.
All right.
Let's see what comes out, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now you're done with me. Thank you.
Now I'm done with you. I guess I am.
All right,
Have a
have a
great
good
weekend,
weekend.
sir. Carl Staffield versus Chloe Peak.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Audrey Lee. I'm a student attorney with the Michigan Clinical Law Program with my partner, Ellie Sawyer. And I'd like to request permission to represent the defendant, Miss Chloe Peak, pursuant to MCR 8.120 under the supervision of Attorney David Santa Croce.
You know, I wouldn't have known they were student attorneys and all those M's started appearing on my screen. All right, anyway, the wrong M, but that's okay. Permission to practice is granted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Go ahead.
So we last saw you over a month ago, and we settled a case not too long after that. So we filed a stipulated dismissal on March 20th, which we believed covered all the claims and counterclaims. And then since this was still on the docket, we filed an amended stipulated dismissal this morning just to clarify that the counterclaims were dismissed as well as the
Got it.
claim.
Okay. And I think that's what was missing for us. All right. And I do have that, and I will sign off. This case is dismissed.
So thank you very much, Your Honor.
Your Honor, just a point of clarification, so I don't make the same mistake again. The form, the stipulated part of the form there says to all claims. So in the past, we've just filed that and that dismisses everything. The amended one, we wrote counterclaims in there. It sounds like maybe that's the best course going forward.
Going forward, it's probably the best thing to put in counterclaims just so that everybody's clear. Because what we've had is we've had the dismissal come in, but then somebody comes along and says, no, we're not dismissing our counterclaims. And then
Fair
I
enough.
gotta litigate it and do whatever.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Enjoy the weekend.
All right. Yes, everybody have a great weekend. Good job, guys.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court calls the case of Arbor House Apartments versus Jasmine Branch.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Max Field on behalf of plaintiff.
Jasmine Branch. Anybody representing them? No response. Where are we on this? Did you wish to take a default, counsel?
That is correct, Your Honor. At this time, plaintiff requests the entry of a default judgment. We've got.
Why don't you raise your hand? Raise your hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Go ahead, sir.
So we've got a rent to retain possession on this one in the amount of $7,341.24. Court costs in the amount of $180, giving us our grand total $7,521.24. We've got a writ date on this one of April 28th, 2025.
Correct. And counsel, I just want to make sure, given the last figures the 2,000 from the court had been received. Because
That
it
is
went down
correct.
about 2. All right, very good. Judgment to the plaintiff, that is by default for possession. Redemption amount is in the amount requested with a writ issue in 10 days. Now sign the judgment upon its presentation.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court calls the case of Mylan Village versus Renee Bell.
Maxfield Mudar once again on behalf of plaintiff.
Hello,
Hello.
what's your name?
Renee Marie Bell.
Okay, all right, and I had at the last hearing 1,187 that was owing. Is that correct, counsel?
That is correct, and that's currently what I've got the balance as here today, Your Honor.
All right, and how, oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, what were you saying?
I have 500 of it right now, but I have filed through DHHS and just waiting for the answer.
Okay, let me ask you this. How many people are in your household?
2.
2? Okay. And you said you had 500 today.
Yes.
Right? So if DHHS awards you their maximum with 2 people in the house, you're still gonna be a little short.
Yeah, I was going to try to go through Aiden Mylan and see if I can get some help because they usually help out once a year for people that are struggling.
Okay. So your DHHS, you haven't gotten an answer yet from them?
Correct.
Okay. And you're looking at another agency all right. So let me ask you this. If DHHS comes back and says no, what's your plan?
I get paid on the 1st, so I should have the extra money to pay whatever's left over or what would be left over.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Okay. How much is your monthly rent?
$481.
481. Is that correct, counsel?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, so at worst, what we would do if this went into May, you're at about 12 plus 5, so you'd be at 1,700, but you have 5 today. And then when are you gonna go check with that other agency and file?
I actually am going to go today.
Got it. Okay. All right, so I want you to pay to the landlord the 500 that you have.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna pay the 500, pay that today.
All right.
And then I'm going to adjourn it out a week. And at that point, so to be April 25th, 2025 at 2 p.m.
Okay.
At that point, what we should have an answer from DHHS. You should know from the other agency, and then we'll see where we are and try to figure it out.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Yes.
All right. Make sure to get the 500 over to the landlord though.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Am I able to make my Zoom request orally for that hearing next week at this time?
Ann? No. Ann said no. I would have said yes, counsel, but Ann said no. You got to file the form.
You let her know I'm going to give her a piece of my mind when I file it, but I certainly will.
All right, thank you. Court does call the case. You first. Thank you. Carla Green versus Dustin Mickles. Yes, there's Carla Green, Dustin Mickles, and Antoinette. State your names.
Carla Green, Antoinette.
Dustin. All right. All right, where are we on this, folks? Because,
I filed the proper paperwork.
well, I don't know that you did. Okay, so here's the problem. I don't think that I have subject matter jurisdiction over the case, and let me just explain it so everybody knows what I'm talking about. In order for the court to obtain subject matter jurisdiction over the case, I have to have a proper notice to quit. When we were here, and I kind of explained it the last time that we were here. When we were here the last time, you were indicating to me that you gave them a notice to quit on the case. I didn't have it in my file. And I kept asking you, well, when did you serve it on them? Because I think they were saying they hadn't gotten a notice to quit. So I said that I had to have the one that has the proof of service on it. And I adjourned it out to give you an opportunity to correct that. Because if it had been served, it was. So you filed with the court a notice to quit. And importantly, on the notice to quit that you filed, it says that they had to move by February 28th, 2025. And that you served it on them March, as I'm looking at it here, March 10th, 2025. Is what it looks like to me. And it says it's served by first class mail. Assuming this document to be true, I don't have jurisdiction over the case. And in fact, I'll just say this, this document, if that's the March 10th date, it can't be, because you can't tell someone they have to move by the 28th of February and not give them notice that they have to move until March 10th. The only way that this notice, as it is signed by you, can make sense is if it were served on them on March 10th, they would have until April 11th or April 10th in which to move. So when I look at the face of the documents, this notice is invalid. With the dates that are on here, it can't be true.
Additionally, went with that notice to quit, had this file, had the police officer do it the correct way, because that's what I was told to do from this court. The notice to quit. You said that I had to show proper paperwork of me serving them the correct way. So the first time I served them was
And
January.
we went through this the last time. You gave me, and when you were talking about the police officer serving, that's the service of the summons and complaint. That I don't necessarily, as I'm looking at it, have a problem with, that they would have received a summons and complaint from the court. They would have had an officer or somebody show up to serve that. That I'm not having the issue with, and that's what I was just trying to explain at the last hearing. Because the document you handed me, that you were talking about that. What I told you was the notice to quit. I didn't have a copy of when it was served on them. Gave you the opportunity, you said you did, I gave you the opportunity to correct it. I'm not sure what date it was received, but the document that we received that was received by the court is a notice to quit to recover possession of the property. I will say two things about that. First of all, it doesn't match, the top portion of that notice to quit does not match what I have in the file, which leads me to believe that it's not the document that was served on them if it was served. Then even aside from all of that, and so in reality, it's not a valid notice to quit. But even aside from all of that, if I were to say, give me the benefit of the doubt, I'll just look at it, I'll take the dates. You can't give somebody a 30-day notice, tell them to move by February 28th, and not tell them until March 10th.
Your Honor, I think it's a misunderstanding. I served them a notice to quit on February 28th because I'm following all the court steps. She said, first of all, you have to file a notice to quit yourself. And then if they don't move, you come to court, you file this paperwork, and then you come to court. So I served them, correct?
No, you don't get to question them. What are you saying? You have to give me a proper service here. And I don't have it. I don't know what that notice to quit, you keep saying that you gave them one. I don't know what it says. Because your two notices to quit are different. The one that you gave me just recently is different than what was attached. The top portion is different than what was attached to the complaint that was filed. One is typed, the other is handwritten. It says moved by the 28th, but the way it works on a 30-day, I tell you, if I were to give somebody right now a 30-day notice today, the 18th, I would say, if I serve it on somebody today,
Your Honor, I served it
April,
from January.
just don't interrupt me. April 18th, I would give them until May 18th to move.
Correct.
Your notice, on the other hand, says you have to move by February 28th, but I don't tell you that until March 10th.
That's the second.
Can't work that
That's
way.
the second notice, Your Honor. The first notice, they told me to serve it. You have to have a 30-day notice to quit. I served them the 30-day notice to quit January the 28th. So they had till February the 28th to move.
Then why don't I have a proof of service that it was given to them on January 28th? I don't have that. I told you to come back, and usually I wouldn't do it. Usually I would have kicked this case the last time. You kept telling me that you had it. I see a notice. I don't have the proof of service on the notice to quit. I gave you an opportunity to correct. What I got
Your Honor, what
is an impossibility.
Your Honor, what you got is what the court told me to do. They said file a 30-day.
You're not gonna blame the court. The court didn't tell you to do this, because I think this is a falsified document if you want to really get down to it. Because the notice to quit that I have in the file is typed. The notice to quit that you gave me is handwritten. It can't be the same. I don't want to accuse you of providing false documents to the court, but that's certainly what it looks like. And secondly, the date, as I indicated, and I will say, you can smile at me all you want, but I'm going to tell you right now, if I think you filed a false document, you're going to get a show cause, and you're not going to like what happens. Am I clear? The document that you gave me is a factual impossibility. You cannot tell somebody to move February 28th and serve them on March 10th. It can't happen that way, because you're telling them to move after the time that you told them to move. You can't do it. That's what's in this file. So giving you an opportunity to do that, I've given you an opportunity to correct it. You failed to correct it. I will state on the record, I think you provided to the court a false document. This court lacks subject matter jurisdiction pursuant to the cases decided by Michigan Supreme Court. I don't have jurisdiction over this case. The only thing that I can do is dismiss it. This case is dismissed for lack of subject matter jurisdiction. Thank you. What'd you say? Ma'am, you better bring her back here. Bring her back here, Alan.
Your Honor,
Yeah, go back there someplace, because when she comes back in here, it is gonna be a mess.
Okay.
Don't go out into the hall yet. Call security down. I don't want to say who wants to go next, but they're coming down. I'll wait for her to come back here, but it doesn't have to wait for her. Jeff Lewis versus Michelle Kresnick.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. State your name.
Jeffrey Lewis, Lewis.
Julie Lewis.
All right. And what are we doing here today on this case, folks?
Well, this was adjourned from last week. We did the 30-day notice to quit. We had a hearing last week. It was adjourned till today. And she was to pay rent, which she didn't. And she was also going to try to get rent assistance, which I don't have any record of her trying to get rent assistance. So today we're asking for possession and payment.
Okay, hold on one moment. Amy? Did okay, Ellen. Amy, do you know whether or not Ms. Krasnick has applied for assistance?
I don't have any.
You don't have any? Okay. Okay, so who wants to take the proofs? Whoever wants to raise their right hand to be sworn.
I'll take it, Your Honor.
All right. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
State your name again for the record.
I'm sorry, do you know the difference?
Is she in Zoom?
Yes.
She is. Okay, my apologies. Ms. Krasnick?
Yes.
Okay, all right, you're here. And last hearing, there was $5,377.15 that was owed. Is that right? Mr. Lewis?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And ma'am, how were you intending on trying to get that paid?
So I did apply for assistance and I did send the document to the court email, the 14A.
I see it.
Okay.
So that may entitle you to another week, but who did you apply to Hawk for assistance?
I thought I had to apply to the DHS first.
Okay, all right. Well, you don't have to. Did you call 961-1999, that phone number?
No, I did not. Because I called DHS and they told me what I needed to do to fill out. And so that's what I did.
So we got her. She thought she had to go to DHS, did not call Hawk. I think you were probably waiting for a response from DHS before you called Hawk. She doesn't have to do that. But for whatever we get that occasionally, that there's a misunderstanding as to that. But
okay,
ma'am, how many people are in your house?
3.
3. Okay, so that you know, if you have 3 people in your house, that's only going to get you about $620.
I understand. I'm also
okay.
I'm also waiting for my tax return, which is taking way longer than expected. But I had a question because when they served me the original document, they just wanted possession, but my lease doesn't end until July. So even if I paid the amount, they still said they want possession back.
I have this as a termination case.
Right.
And you're right. Let me just see here. What's the basis of your termination?
Your Honor, we have multiple lease violations, and from the very beginning, she became a tenant in May of 2024 without our knowledge. We didn't even discover it until January of this year when her male friend moved out and left her behind. She was basically a squatter. So we had 2 choices at that point: try to evict her in January or try to work something out. So we tried to work something out with her.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you want her under that theory to leave the premises, or do you want her to catch up rent?
Well, honestly, if she paid her rent and followed the lease, she probably could stay there till July. But the thing is that she's so far in the hole now, she never paid her security deposit. She's $5,300 in the hole, and then come May 1st, she'll be over $7,500 in the hole. And she hasn't paid rent since the 1st of February.
What happened? Hang on a second. My person back? Okay. All right. So I just need to know whether or not you want, whether or not she could stay or you're seeking to terminate, because if you're seeking to terminate, I don't know that she's gonna be able to get assistance through Hawk.
Okay, I want to terminate right now. Just
All
terminate. Yeah,
And ma'am, you're claiming that you have a lease? Ms. Krasnick?
That's correct.
Okay, if she's not supposed to be there, I have a lease that has her name on it.
yes, that was the lease that we created for her in January, once we discovered she was in the house. She'd been there since May of 2024.
Okay, but then she signed the lease.
Yes, in January of 25.
So, well, I have December 18th. as
Yeah,
the date
right.
of the le- Okay,
That's correct.
so. Okay, so the problem here is gonna be the notice. Mr. Lewis. Because your notice indicates that you want possession of the premises, but the box also that's checked is the box which indicates that she's what's called a tenant at will or by sufferance, which means that she doesn't have a lease.
Yeah, okay.
And she has a lease. And
Okay. And that's, and Your Honor, which form is that on? Because we went through this with the,
that's
The counter.
on. I'm just discussing notices to quit all over the place here.
Yeah.
I'll show you. If
See
you
which
can-
one.
I can't see this, yeah. On that notice to quit that was filed with the court,
Okay,
that notice to quit, it says you check the first box.
yeah, delivering, yeah, personally, yeah,
and
personally in
then-
possession.
Right, and then you said you wanted possession. The first box indicates that she's basically a tenant at will or a month-to-month tenant, commonly known as, but she's not.
Right. So what,
And the second portion where you wrote on there, where it says wants possession of the property,
Mhm.
that would not be available as a remedy to terminate her lease.
so which box would I have checked in the future when I go to check?
Well, I can't
Oh,
give you legal advice, but
Yeah.
the way it reads at this point can I have my, the way the notice reads, the notice to her reads is that she's a month-to-month tenant and that you want possession.
Right,
That's not the case here because you
Okay.
signed the lease.
sure.
She has a lease. So that's where we are. If you wanted to proceed by termination, I'd have to grant the judgment in her favor because I don't have a proper notice.
Okay. So what do we do now to get her to pay the $5,300?
Well, what I'm gonna suggest that you do, if she pays and you're gonna allow her to stay, because obviously she's got a lease, that she continue her efforts to try to get assistance and that you kind of work with her to get that done. So, but the fact that you're at the what was it?
$5,377.
Right. So the fact that you're there, if she were even to get assistance from Hawk outside of DHHS, you still, ma'am, would have to come up with about $2,400
Yes, I understand.
to get the 3,000 paid.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
What was your plan on trying to do that, ma'am?
So, like I said, I'm still waiting on my tax return, which is taken, I don't.
Gotcha.
But
You did say that.
Yeah.
So
and
what I'm gonna have to,
expired.
here's what I'm gonna suggest that you do, okay? What I'm gonna suggest you do is work through that. I'm gonna have to dismiss this case because I can't, in the form that it's in, I can't terminate her tenancy. So I'd have to dismiss the case. I'm gonna suggest to you, ma'am, that you continue to work through with DHHS and Hawk to try to get that payment in. I understand waiting on tax returns, but then get that to the Lewises to get everything caught up.
Yes, I understand.
Okay,
Or we start again and then just.
right, you'd start again, but you'd have to do it really as a non-payment case.
Right.
And and the violations of the lease, right?
Whatever
She has a
those,
lease.
I don't know what those violations are, so, yeah, I mean, you'd have to list them out. She'd have to be placed on notice of that.
Sure.
But, okay, so at this point, I'm gonna have to dismiss the case.
Okay.
All right,
Okay, we'll start again. All right, thank you, Aaron.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Happy Easter.
All right, and to you. Town Center Place versus Marshall Parsons. That matter's dismissed on plaintiff's motion without prejudice.
Sorry to interrupt. Your Honor, are we allowed to leave you?
I'm not clear what's going on out there.
Okay.
All right, so if you just sit tight, he was trying to explain something to me. I was trying to finish up that case and do we know?
We do now, sorry. Would you like me to?
Well, no, because I don't know what's going on out there. All right, you two, since you're the one that caused my troubles. No, I'm kidding. You two sit right there until we tell you to leave. All right? So that'll be simple. The rest of the people here are probably for my next block, which I'm just gonna let you know right now is gonna be a bit delayed, but I will get it called. And I'm gonna step off the bench and try to figure out exactly what's going on. Okay? Thank you, folks. Court's gonna stand in recess.
14A District Court for County Washington, State of Michigan is now back in session. The office
You may be seated. Okay, you two. She's out of the building and clear. You can go. All right?
Thank you.
Just give us a heads up when you're gonna grace my doorstep again, all right? You guys take care. Have a great weekend. Almost don't want to call anymore. I guess I will. Just that. Yeah, I did. You want to write next. I don't even want the fire. Court does call the case of Starow Farms versus Tiffany Copeland.
Good afternoon, Brianna Kingsley appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
I don't know how good it is. I guess stop complaining, don't I? Come on now. Hello, what's your name?
Tiffany Copeland.
All right, where are we on this case?
Your Honor, today's the date and time scheduled for defendant's motion to set aside the default judgment, so I will let her make her argument to the court.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, like I said before, I got a call about a water leak, so it made my rent / payment extremely high. It was like $1,900 for December and January, I believe. So they shut the water off in December because they said it was a leak. And I contacted a couple of companies to come out and they did the repiping for me. And so on top of that, so it was a leak on my end, also a leak on Starow Farms end. Also, the water meter was cracked. So that's what I was trying to question, like, is that could be a reason why the bill was so high, could that have been part of it? The water meter being cracked as well, not working properly. So anyways, I got the piping redone. And so they kept telling me I needed to put some more heating tape on there. So I paid another, so the reason,
But
company that
ma'am,
came out-
let me ask you this. On April 1st, why weren't you here?
you know what, didn't get a letter in the mail in time to say what time to come, and I have been waiting for this to come along. And yeah, I don't know, the letter didn't come in time with the time to show up, so I missed it. But I came after the fact, once I
because there was another lawyer I was talking to. And he was like, well, why weren't you there? I'm like, what are you talking about? So anyways, I flew here, and tried to get in to still, talk about it, but I couldn't. So that's why I went ahead and put another, more money down again to proceed with the process.
What does plaintiff have as owing?
So she has filed 2 prior motions. In the second motion she filed, she deposited 5915 into escrow. That was released to my client. It's been posted to her account. And then she posted another 1,000, I believe, into escrow with this. So by my calculations, she would owe 1561.95 left. The judgment was for 8411.95.
So she owes 1597,
1561.97.
1561.97.
95. Sorry.
Okay. So about $1,562. All right. Ma'am, so when I went through everything, so 2 things that you have to show in order for me to set aside the default judgment. One is that there is a valid reason for your failure to appear. And I frankly am not hearing that. But aside from that, I then have to hear a meritorious defense to plaintiff's claims. We went through this in summary before, but I set it for trial. And that is that the water leak was not on Staro's side, but was on your side.
It's on both sides.
Okay.
I
But
have a video.
okay. But what I'm getting at is I gave you an opportunity to bring that before the court. They had their folks here. Everybody was ready to go. You weren't here. I don't really have a valid reason for your failure to appear. Okay. So in essence, I would have to deny your motion to set aside the default judgment.
Can I say?
So go ahead.
Okay, so the only thing is so when I did it for the $1,000 this time, I did send emails, proof from Z plumbers stating what was going on with this whole thing. So they can't even move forward on getting it 100% right because there's pieces missing on Starow Farms. So that's why another reason why I was putting things on escrow to be held so that things could be fixed properly because I spent almost $10,000 on repairs. So I don't want it to be redamaged by not having everything done properly. So everything's done on my end. I had 2 companies that verified that there's some things on Starow Farms end that they need to continue to fix in order for things to run right. So I don't even want the water to run until I know.
Right.
I don't never want to see a bill like that again.
Have you sent that information to Starow?
Yeah, matter of fact, I came in there and talked with them and we talked to, what is it called? She was there. I talked to them. Sorry, I talked to her.
My manager's here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I came in after that day, I came to put the $1,000, I went straight to Starow Farms. And that's how I was getting more information. They was like, oh, they sent me a picture saying this needs to be repaired, but it's something that they still need to fix in order for the heating pipes, the heating tape to get put on there properly so no more damages goes on. But they said they don't have that part, it's on back order. So I have to continue to wait.
That Starow doesn't have the part?
Yeah, so I have to continue to wait. So that's the only reason I was putting stuff on escrow to hold off to trying to get things done, properly so we can just be done with this. So I thought when you put it on escrow, it's supposed to hold things off until things are fixed properly, basically. Because like I said, I don't never want to see a bill of a water bill of $900 and a sewer bill of $900 again.
Hence why I'm on a well and septic. So, all right, I hear you. Let me ask you this. So is it correct that Starow is waiting on a part?
Yes, I believe the part's already been.
Yeah, parts have been ordered and we do have, outside contractors on site at the property this week and next week. Working on system-wide water meters.
There was a part on the water, so the water meter cracked. There was a part on the water meter that she's referring to that was backward.
That needs to be,
Yes.
done. That's back ordered, that needs to be.
Yes.
And all
Which is
she
some-
wants it done is she wants it put on and be done with this. Okay.
That's
so
what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Because like I said,
probably a wise move.
yeah, and I didn't know it was so wide, like you know, I thought it was just my place, but I started to find out more that it was other people complaining about their water meter as well.
All right. So here's the thing. I'm not going to set aside the judgment in the case. All right. But the 1562 basically, or 1561.95. When can that be paid? So, because here's what I wanted. Let me just explain to you what I wanted.
Okay.
I'm not going to set aside the judgment, but I also don't want to place you in a position where you're evicted. You paid the money. There it looks like everybody's parts are going to be repaired, and there will be water. So
So no one can really stay there until, you know, this is complete.
I know, but they're having people come out. And
But yeah, but it's been a long time. It's been since December. So that's the only thing for me.
So what do you want me to do, man?
I'm not sure. I'm just saying what's going on.
I know, you're not sure. And you want to yell at me. That's okay.
I don't want to yell at nobody. I want peace this Friday.
I know.
I'm just right.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get to. What I'm trying to get to is a point that it's paid, it gets fixed, and then there can be water.
Yeah.
Okay, and that you're not evicted from the premises because you put money into it and the like. I don't want to see that happen.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this,
Mhm.
but you're just not sure that it's going to be fixed.
Yeah.
That's really what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like,
Okay.
it's been a long time coming here.
I know. Okay. So the 1562 or 1561.95, do you have that?
I do.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. They're coming. When are they coming out? Did you say?
This week or next week? Next week?
Yeah, they'll be out back again on Monday.
On Monday. Okay.
I'll make sure our contractors.
Okay. So is it the type of repair that they're going to be able to do that day?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a certain
It's just a
type
plate.
of freeze plate.
Yeah, it's the freeze plate.
We couldn't get from the community the.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to adjourn this to April 25th, 2025 at 3 p.m. I'm going to order that you put the 1561.95 into court escrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll hold that there. Once we're sure the repair's done, water's back on, then I'll release it, but then everything's done.
Okay.
Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
Will you stop yelling at me?
Yeah.
All right. After a few cases today, I'm a bit sensitive. All right. Okay.
Judge, can I just make a brief statement for the record?
Oh boy, here we go. All right, Kingsley. Go on. What do you
Thank
want to tell
you.
me? I thought I did a miracle job in resolving the whole thing, but now she's just gonna go ahead.
Judge, I just have to protect my client's interests at the end of the day,
It's
so.
protect-
I would just like to note that for the record, I was present on April 1st. I had 4 witnesses here. Ms. Copeland appeared 5.5 hours late. That's all I'd like to state.
Well,
I knew that though. Didn't I know that? Didn't I? Yeah. Don't you start saying-
okay, okay.
All right, but now we're past that. And now
Understood.
the money's going into escrow. They're gonna get that part fixed. There'll be water and everybody will be happy.
Thank you.
Understood.
All right. We'll see everybody next week.
Okay.
See, make sure that everything's.
Thank you.
Do
All
you want
right.
us back in person next week?
How's she gonna know that the repair's been done and the water's back on?
Just
Are they gonna, you're gonna talk to them?
They.
Okay, so here's the way I look at it. If that's all done, then I don't need everybody back in person.
Okay.
I would then, once I get notification that that's the case, I'll release escrow.
Okay.
That's it. Okay?
Okay. do you want my office to contact the court and let you know?
Yes.
Okay, I can
And
do
to
that.
Let us know that it's been done and the water's back on.
Okay, I can email,
Pardon?
I can just send an email to Ann.
Absolutely.
Oh.
If you send it to me, I probably won't read it. All right. Okay. All right.
right,
Thank you,
Judge.
folks. Everybody have a.
Do
great
I need to
weekend.
draft an order or are you gonna issue one on your own?
We'll
Okay,
take care of it.
thank you.
You'll be okay. Kingsley, geez, oh, geez. I'm just trying to make it through another day, okay? Court calls the case, Starow Farms versus Paul Dest.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Paul Dest?
And I believe Leah.
Oh, I'm sorry, and Lee Dest and Paul Dest. Twice. Okay,
Thank you.
okay, who do I have here? Bye. Yes, ma'am. All right. Your name? Paul. All right.
So I have an update for you on this one. They've submitted the payment. We're just waiting for the checks to clear. So could we just adjourn this 1 week and?
Oh, great. That's all right with you folks?
One week. I'm a little confused about the checks to clear.
We're waiting for the checks to clear.
How long do they take?
When did you give them the check?
They submitted two. They
Gave
submitted
them one
one
today, gave them one
earlier this week.
Wednesday. Sometimes they take a month to clear, so I'm just curious. Yeah.
Are you good with one?
Yeah, it depends on how quickly they get to the main office. They've already been both overnight. The one should have already appeared at the main office and.
They had-
Okay, so they go here, then they go to the main office, and the main
Well,
office
it's just-
is the part.
The type of check that it is, it has to go to the main office to be posted. That's what it is.
I'm just gonna have to take more time off work to come back.
No, just.
If we gotta come back.
Calm down, calm down. I'll work through that part, okay? Just tell me what your issue is. I'll do my best to work.
All right.
Okay, you need to take your hands out of your pockets because that gets him upset and then that whole thing.
All right.
Okay, we don't want that. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna adjourn it out a week, the 25th, 2025 at 3 p.m. I really don't necessarily need you here. Okay, one of the two of you can appear via Zoom.
So
Okay. And it's just a matter of the checks clear. That's all we're looking at.
so if it's not clear in a week, then where are we at? I just would like to know, I mean, just what.
Well, that's a bit difficult to answer, only because if it doesn't clear because the bank is kind of they've got it, but on a hold, that's one thing. If it doesn't clear because the funds aren't there, that's a whole different thing.
The funds are there.
Okay, I know, sir. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to
I
do?
just want to answer what a reasonable amount of time is to cash a check.
I don't know, because it's different things. If you were listening, what they just explained is it came into their office because of the type of check it is, they have to send it to the main office. I'm not in charge of those folks as to when they deposit.
Right.
The best that I can do is set it out a week. You've told me about your work issue. I will allow either one of you to appear via Zoom so that we can just get it straight. That's the best I can do. April 25th, 3 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Fill out a Zoom form so that I don't have to go through this, please.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah. Starow Farms versus Joanna Hollis Agbadu.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
And also Victor Agbadu.
Yeah, Victor is.
Okay, I need a camera.
Uh,
Okay, where are we on this case?
Judge, we were here last week, well, not in front of you, in front of Judge Barr, we were here, or 2 weeks ago, maybe, last week. Mr. Agbadu appeared, claimed that the first defendant, Joanna, is deceased and that he applied for rental assistance. So I'm not sure if he applied for DHS or if he applied for Hawk.
Sir, what assistant did you apply for?
for DHS.
DHS?
Yes.
Okay, did you talk to Hawk at all or SOS?
No,
Okay, so I had that you owed almost 3,400. How are you gonna get that paid?
yeah, I just got a new job last week. I will get paid next week.
The whole amount, you get it paid?
No, 2,000 next week.
Okay, so you'll have 2,000 that you'll pay to the landlord next week?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what day next week?
Maybe Friday.
Pardon, Friday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll need it early. Can you get it into them before noon on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't I do this since that's a pretty good chunk. I'll adjourn this out to the 25th, 2025 at 3 p.m. Let's see if that payment's in and then we'll go from there. Okay? All right, thank you, sir. Court calls case, Starow Farms versus Shannon Russo.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Come on. Hello, what's your name?
My name is Shannon Russo.
All right. And where are we on this case?
So we were also here last week on this one. Mr. Russo had appeared. He said he was going to pay the balance this week. So I'm not sure if he's submitted. Did you submit any payments?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I've applied for
He did apply for rental
relief, state emergency relief, and I just received a call from them today that I need some more information just to submit to
For your
what
for an SER?
yeah, they just need so it was state emergency relief.
Yep,
Yeah.
I see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So how many people are in your house?
There are 3 people.
Okay, so that would get $620 of the amount, which is the max that they would pay on that.
Sure.
So how are you intending on getting the rest paid?
Well, I'm just by working extra hours, and I've been doing that to try to amount. By next week, I should be able to pay it by next Friday. Should be able to pay the 2,000. I believe it was
2102.92.
2102.92. Okay,
So you think you can get that paid by next Friday?
I believe so. Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll indicate in here that you can pay 2,000 by the 25th. Can you get that into them before noon on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll trust you and then I'll adjourn it out to the 25th, 2025 at 3 p.m. Okay?
Okay.
Get that paid and then there might be some change there, but we'll figure it out.
Sure.
All right?
Okay.
Thank you,
so
Have
much.
a great weekend.
Thank you.
See, that's how people ought to treat me. Right? They shouldn't be coming up. And then on some of the cases, Kingsley's on the other side. I'm getting yelled at from everybody. I don't know.
I know you haven't seen me in a couple weeks, so.
I know. I need thicker skin. That's what it is. Starow Farms versus Teresa Tomasi.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Tomasi? She said.
I'm here.
Oh, yep. We
Okay.
saw you for a minute. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. I had the last time we were here, 3443.20 owing.
Yeah.
And your SER was declined. Says that you were working with SOS.
Yeah.
Okay. You have any news on that?
Well, I've called for 3 days in a row to the lawyer's office for them to mail the paperwork over, and they haven't emailed it over or called me back.
So she applied for rental assistance through Hawk. All the documents already been provided to Hawk.
To Hawk.
To Hawk.
Do you mind if
they were provided via me on a text on an email yesterday after 3 days of them not responding. It was not given by the lawyer to Hawk. It was done by me alone. And it was so for the last 3 days, and they still haven't returned my phone call. So sitting here 3 days ago, you guys didn't return my phone call of whether or not you emailed it. And I don't even think that they replied to the people in the neighborhood here. Long story short, SOS has granted me $3,000 for the rent. Thankfully that I gave them the paperwork for yesterday.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Do you mind if do you mind if my court liaison officer provides information to the court regarding the status of where things are?
Yeah,
Do you have a problem with that?
okay.
Okay, Amy?
Your Honor, working with Alicia, there's a copay, so that portion of the 3,000 needs to be satisfied first before.
They pay that. Okay. All right. Did you hear that, ma'am?
Yeah, I've got the money order here. Yeah, I've got the award letter from SOS this morning for the 3,000. I've got the money order here for the 442.
Okay, why don't you pay that to the landlord
Okay.
and then
And Okay.
let me adjourn it out a week and see exactly where we are on everything. Okay?
Yeah, and I'll vouch for the water. My poor neighbor hasn't, like, he literally would like wash the laundry once a week because his bills was like $300. So it is not just that lady. FYI. So
I'm just
it's not
gonna
my
have to-
either, but my poor
okay, well,
neighbor literally
thank-
doesn't do his laundry every but 3 weeks. So, all right. Thank you.
All right, thank you for sharing. April 25th.
Yeah.
3 p.m.
3 p.m.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. I'm gonna get up and walk out. I'm just gonna leave. If I do, folks, you'll just have to understand and then I'll come back. Spice Tree Apartments versus Samuel Bishop.
Afternoon. Afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, you got him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge, I missed the case.
Samuel Bishop, Spice Tree.
Randy Kingsley for the plaintiff.
All right. So, let's see, where were we?
So we were here last on April 4th. The defendant had appeared. He indicated he would have the balance paid by today. I'm not showing any payments, but I believe my client's office was closed today as well, so.
All right, did you get it paid today, sir?
No, sir, I was unable to. I'm still working on getting some funds together. I was came here today to ask the court for some more time.
Well, when do you think you can have this paid?
Latest, I'm figuring next. Go to my calendar. Latest, I'm assuming is the 28th, but I'll definitely try to get that paid before then.
Is it 2674.62? Is that what you have on council?
I have 2874.62. I think some additional late fees hit. Yeah, that's
20, give me the full number.
2874.62.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do, sir. I'm gonna grant a judgment for possession to the plaintiff, finding no tribal issue after hearing. And I will extend the payment time, no writ, the April 30th, 2025.
May I approach Judge? I have a judgment.
Yes. Sir, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Spice Tree Apartments versus Cameron Hall.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
And also Atwana Mitchell.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Cameron Hall.
All right. Okay, where are we on this case?
So we were here last on April 4th. Ms. Hall had appeared. She indicated she was seeking assistance through Hawk. I believe that she was going to try to make a payment, but I am not showing any.
Between 300 to 500. She
Yeah.
wasn't sure what it was gonna.
I'm not showing receipt of any payments, so I don't know if she dropped it off today. The office is closed, like I said.
I've made a payment online.
Okay.
And then I tried to go through my bank and deposit more money, but they had a problem with my cash. So we're in the middle of like fixing that right now.
Say again.
I made like a deposit into my bank account today and then they had a problem with the cash. So they're in the middle of fixing that right now.
Okay, so you didn't pay in, nothing's been paid over to the landlord.
Oh, she paid online. Yeah, I paid online.
How much did you pay?
About 100, over 100.
Over, okay.
Over 100? Okay.
Okay.
So,
So that's why it's probably not reflected on my end yet. It's on the
Right.
online portal.
and then have you applied for assistance or?
I can't do the hawk because my co-signer like doesn't want to be a part of that, and they're
Mitch.
Say again?
my,
I,
oh, sorry.
no, I couldn't hear you. What-
My co-signer doesn't like want to be like in that portion.
So how are you gonna get this paid, young lady?
I have 2 jobs now, and I just applied to like my other summer job that helped me get the apartment. So I have an interview on Thursday, but that job.
Did you go to DHS yet?
No, I only know about hawk.
Okay. And so is it Ms. Mitchell that doesn't want to be involved? Is
Yeah.
that the deal?
Yeah.
Is she still in the unit?
Yes.
Okay.
So hold on a moment. I'm just trying to figure this out. Is she paying rent?
Oh no, I was. Yeah. And then my car like broke down and I had to like use the money for rent to fix that.
Okay, but I guess here's what I'm trying to figure out. Ms. Mitchell has indicated she doesn't want to be a part of the process in terms of applying with Hawk, right?
Yes.
Is she paying her portion of the rent?
I'm paying the rent. That's my mom. Miss Mitchell is my parent.
Okay. But is she living in the unit?
She's like in and out. Most of it. I don't know how to like explain it. I'm sorry.
No, you're probably not going to explain anything that's satisfactory to me, but I'm just trying to figure out. So she's in and out of the unit, doesn't want to be involved with Hawk. You're paying the entire rent.
Yes. Yeah.
Was she essentially a co-signer for you
Yeah.
to get the apartment?
Is that okay? But she's there at times.
Sometimes she has her own like place. This was just for me to like get closer to school.
Got it. Okay. So, young lady, how are you intending on getting this paid?
Upping my hours with mine
Pardon? Okay,
and
but
getting another one.
here's gonna be the problem. What's your monthly rent?
I believe it's 1380.
Pardon?
1380.
Base rent alone is 1380, and then there's trash, water, sewer that fluctuate based on the usage each month. Well, the trash fee is a flat 1250, but water and sewer fluctuates each month.
So if I mean, just my rough math, what I'm a little bit worried about is come May 1st, you're gonna be at about $3,600 that's owing. 30, a little over 36, almost 3,700.
Yeah. Well, with me, I think it would be 4,700, right? Not 3,700?
40,
Okay.
you're right, I'm sorry. 46, almost. So you're in school?
Yes.
Where?
Michigan.
I won't hold that against you, but I'm a Maryland guy, so. Amy, help me. Does she have to have the cosigner?
She has a cosigner, she's not allowed to. But
Pardon?
if she has a cosigner, she won't qualify for being able to get assistance.
Have you checked with Salvation Army?
No.
Have you talked to your school about this?
No, I don't really know like where to go for school wise.
U of M has a legal clinic for students.
Yeah. What are you studying, young lady?
Sport management.
Pardon?
Sport management.
Sport management? What the heck is that?
I want to be in the sport industry, like the business portion of sport.
Oh, okay. You just want to take your cut of those huge salaries.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, that's a smart move. But let me ask you this, when's the next time you can make a payment?
I can make like smaller payments because I have like 2 jobs. So I get like checks like every Friday. And then my other job that I'm trying to get, I can make like bigger payments with that one.
Okay, when you're talking bigger payments, what's the amount you're talking about?
Over 490.
Pardon?
Over 490 because the third job pays 492 each week. It's a weekly check.
Okay. All right. Here's what I want you to do, okay? I'm going to adjourn it out a week. I want you to get to the legal clinic at U of M.
Okay.
Okay, and talk with them and find out. I know that various schools had different assistance programs to help students when they get in trouble. The reason I want you to do that is because when you get up around this figure of the 47, even with the payments that you're making, I can't see you catching up anytime reasonably.
Okay.
Okay, you see what I'm getting at? But I want to see if we can at least give you a shot to try to get this cleared up. What year are you?
Sophomore.
You're a sophomore.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see if we can work this out so you can get to be a junior.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Court does call the case of Arbor Woods versus Shanton Campbell.
Brianna Kingsley from the plaintiff.
Ms. Campbell, do you have a camera? Yep, you do. Okay, we got you. Okay, I had 2167.80 owed. Is that where we still are?
Oh, I'm showing 1858. It looks like she got so she was on a month-to-month. She then signed a lease, so we credited back the month-to-month fee for April.
Okay, so how much is owing at this?
1858 even.
1858 even.
Mhm.
Okay. And Ms. Campbell, how are you intending on getting that paid?
When I get paid on the 28th. I can pay
On the
full-
28th, you can pay it all?
the full amount, yes, sir.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna issue a judgment for possession, finding no tribal issue after a hearing in this case. And the 1858 includes court costs?
It does, yes.
All right, for that total amount is $1,858. And I will indicate that that's to be paid or no writ the 30th of this
April
month.
30th. And then I would request that this enter by default as to the second defendant, Diane
Yes.
Taylor.
No tribal issue as to this one by default as to defendant.
May I approach?
Yes. What are you doing, man? No, what were you doing? Just, no, that's okay. No, you rest up. All right, I've signed that.
It's all right. We have a rhythm going. It's okay, Judge.
That's right.
Just
We're,
us.
we're moving along. You just, no, you take, no. You okay? All right, you're good, man. Don't worry about it. Arbor Woods versus Kyle Casey.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Hello, your name?
Kyle Casey.
All right, and I had 1857.50 owing.
He dropped off a payment of $820, so I have $1,049.90.
1,000, I'm sorry,
1049.90.
1040. All right. How are you gonna get that paid?
I was actually gonna ask you if I could have like a couple months' time, not for the money, but while my wife is undergoing a lot of surgeries. over the past couple months. She's got some things going on with her spinal leak, and she's actually having another one Monday. So I've been forced to take work off more than I normally would. I have a single income household. I have a small child, and I look after both of them. I pay everything. So lately, I've been not working as many hours as I normally do. My checks are smaller, so I've been slowly but surely falling behind. This is no problem for me to pay. I don't need any assistance. I don't need anything. I have no problem paying it. I just don't want them to, I want to pay them separately. Like they gave me a lease since our last hearing, which I'm very happy with. I would like to, if you would allow, to continue paying the lease and this separately so that I don't get late fees each month for not paying this in full with because they're putting this on my.
No, I got you.
You get what I'm saying? And as well as like the court costs, that's on my monthly lease.
Okay.
So the same thing.
Just listen, you got a lot going on. Let's see.
I do.
Okay, let's see if we can work it through for you, okay? It'll help you out a bit. So when's the next time you can make a payment to the landlord?
Well, I gotta pay this month.
Pardon?
I have to pay my rent's coming up again.
No, I know.
So I can make.
Hold
a
on,
payment,
just hold.
next Friday.
Hold on, just listen.
Next Friday.
Just kind of answer my question and let's see what we can work through for you, okay? And you got a lot that's burdening you right now. Let's see if we can try to, all right? So when's the next time you can make a payment?
Either today or next Friday.
Okay, and how much can you make?
If it's today, I can give them like 200.
Okay, so next Friday, how much can you pay?
I'm not sure. It's gonna depend on how big my check is because I've.
Okay, all right, ballpark it for me.
I'd like to do none and wait for the next.
Pardon?
I'd like to not make a payment towards that and save that for my next rent payment, if possible.
I need you to work with me and just listen to me, okay?
Yes.
All right. So I'm not gonna worry right now about May. Okay?
About May?
About your May rent.
Oh, okay.
How much can you pay with your next check?
500.
500? Okay, do you think you can pay 500 by next Friday?
I'll pay 500 today.
Okay.
Instead of, if I can do it inside this Friday.
Hold on. Just work with me. I've been doing this a minute, okay? So I get it. So here's what I'm gonna do. Pay 500 today on this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjourn this out a week to the 25th, 2025 at 3 p.m. If you need to appear via Zoom so that you don't miss work, then we got a form you can fill out and I'll let you appear via Zoom. On that day, here's what I may do. I may issue a judgment for what's left. So if you have extra money, put it toward it. I may issue a judgment at that time for the amount. But what that does is that cuts it off and then you can work toward what you're gonna do in May. Okay? It's the same thing that you were saying, but sort of from the reverse. Okay? So I'll do that. I'll adjourn it out to 3 p.m. on that day. We'll see exactly where you are. You should be somewhere around 600 that's owing. So we'll work with that 600, figure out how you're gonna get that paid, okay?
Okay.
I did ask my client if they would be willing to waive the month-to-month fees in light of the lease issue, so I'm just waiting to hear back.
I was gonna ask.
So let me just,
His
how
lease
much
ex-
is the month-to-month fee?
$37, so he was charged 6 months for $37 for a month-to-month premium.
Got it.
So his
Oh,
lease
that
expired in
might
October. Yeah, I asked them if they, yeah,
37, 350, 400.
I asked them if they would. I haven't heard back, so that's their decision. But
I also have a question. I don't know if you can spread light. My water bill and my sewage bill this past month was like 90 and 50 versus
57.29
it's
and
like
91.02.
37 and 17. And I'm just
Okay.
curious to why.
Have you had anybody come and check out to see if there's a leak in the home?
No, but the one after that
Oh
is
yeah,
back to normal.
May
so
is
I don't-
35.
That's
So
why I don't get it.
Okay, I'll ask them. It looks like it was just for April.
Yeah, because that's another like.
Just for April.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was just for April. Water was 91.02, sewer was 57.29.
That's like extra $90 right there.
Got it. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna adjourn it out. You pay the 500. Let's see what they say about that.
How do I have to pay?
Oh, just a cashier's check or money order. You can drop it off at the office.
What if I can't get the cash out of the bank in time?
Today.
Or 5 o'clock?
Oh, then just pay it on
If you
Monday.
pay it Monday.
Yeah,
You're good.
Okay.
that's
All
fine.
right.
I actually think their office might be closed because of the holiday.
Okay.
So just pay it on Monday.
So
Yeah, that's
do
fine.
it, do
Yeah.
it.
As long as you pay it
Yeah,
prior to
I'll-
next Friday, you're good.
Yeah.
I can put it in the box again.
Okay? You got it?
Absolutely.
All right.
3 o'clock. Next.
Do me a favor. Take care of your wife. Relax about this. We'll work through it. Got it?
Thank you. And can I get the Zoom? Do I go up front to get the Zoom?
We'll
She
give
has a
you,
form.
give you a form here. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Arbor Woods versus Tamika Mason.
Oh, you just fill it out and then-
Oh,
Just fill it out and turn it in up there.
I'm sorry.
You can fill it out and turn it in up front.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Brandon Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Tamika Mason and Jimmy Mason.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm
What-
Tamika Mason.
Your name?
Jimmy Mason.
All right. See, I appreciate what they did. She came up, gave her name. He didn't like barge up here, try to give them both names. All right. Okay, where are we on this?
So Mrs. Mason and I actually had an opportunity to speak really quick before the hearing. She dropped off a payment, or maybe Mr. Mason, which one of you dropped it off? But a $1,300 payment was dropped off on 4/15. She said she's gonna make another payment today and the balance will be paid on Monday. So do you wanna adjourn it
So-
over 1 week?
Yeah, so she made the one payment on
Mhm.
15. There's another payment coming in
Today.
today. And then there'll be a small balance that they're gonna clear up that following week.
Yes.
Got it. So let me put it out a week to April 25th, 2025 at 3 PM. Let's make sure all those payments are in, and we'll figure out what to do with that balance. Does that work, folks?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, you too.
Thank
Happy.
Arbor Woods versus Lisa Thompson.
Brandon Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Lisa Thompson.
Okay. You got her? Okay. All right, I had 2747 that was owed.
That is still the balance as of today's date. No payments have been received.
All right. Thompson, how are you intending on getting this paid?
The last time when I talked to Judge Barr, when I was in court, I didn't get paid to today. I can actually pay $1,000. I get off late. I can have it in a Dropbox Monday. I get paid every 2 weeks. So I was going to make another payment after in the following 2 weeks.
Okay, so you can pay 1,000 by Monday.
That's correct.
All right, do this. Pay the 1,000 by Monday. I'm gonna adjourn this out 1 week to the 25th at 3 PM. And then what we'll do is we'll see exactly where you are and then we'll move from there, okay?
Can I ask you a question really quick? I don't get paid until 2 weeks later. But
Oh, I
I'm
heard
being
you.
charged. I'm being charged like when I give them cashier checks. I'm being charged. And I don't know why.
For cashier's checks?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a $10 money order or cashier's check surcharge. It's in the lease and it's in the community rules.
I
Yeah, I
don't
know.
have a lease. I have no one to talk to. I've been trying to get in touch with someone. I don't have nobody to talk to in that office.
Okay, ma'am, let's do this. Let's work it through piece by piece, okay? And let's get the 1,000 in. Let's figure out where you are and then figure out what we can do, okay?
Okay, so April 25th at what time?
3 PM.
Okay, and can I please do a call in because I'm working at these hours?
Yeah, I'll allow, yeah, call in.
I appreciate it.
All right, you take care. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Judge.
You do the same, sir. Thank you.
Arbor Woods versus April Tubb Streeter.
Brandon Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Hello, what's your name?
What's up, Streeter?
You want to yell at me? No, okay, good, all right, and I'll give you your case. All right, where I had 1175.25,
25? Same.
same balance.
I don't even know what's going on here.
Pardon?
I don't even know what's going on here.
What do you mean?
I got this to come to court a little over a week ago.
Okay.
I had talked with Jen and another young lady. Jen is not the easiest to speak to.
Got somebody in the office?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess she's, I don't know if she's a manager, but however, I've told her before, I'm not the type that like to just sit and just, just keep this going on. What can we do to move forward? One of the things that I know is the lease. Now, Elise, my daughter has special needs. To shorten the story up, they sent one to her email. I asked them not to do that, to send it to me. However, I signed my portion of the lease. Elise did not sign her portion of the lease, as far as we know. We can't get into her email because it's full or something like that on her phone. I'm not very computer savvy, so with that being said, I asked them if they could send it to my phone. So with that being said, can we just have the email sent to me? What can we do? Because I don't feel like that I should be responsible, because I've been trying to get the lease since last year in September. But somebody had left, Jacob that was there. So we didn't have anybody in the rental office for a few months. So with that being said, that's the problem that I'm having with that. I don't know why I'm here, because I have their money.
You haven't?
Yeah. So I don't know why I'm here, except for the part with when me having to pay lease month by month.
Month-to-month lease.
I shouldn't have to be responsible for that. Yes. Yes.
I got you.
So a couple things. It looks like for the month of February, there were no payments received. The next payment was received in March. So it looks like it's about 1 month behind plus the court fees.
Gotcha.
So I'm not sure if she did drop off a money order or paid online about that. The second thing is I spoke to my client about the lease issue. The lease is generated through DocuSign and then it's sent to the email. And then if it doesn't get signed within like a period of time, it automatically cancels. So that was the issue. And they checked yesterday in the DocuSign and it was still in Elisa's email. So, but it sounds like she can't access that.
And I
Right,
she has
so,
special needs, so I have to ask
right,
them
so
constantly.
she's been,
No.
hang on,
Yeah.
I got you. Is there a way to get it sent to Ms. Tubb Streeter's email?
That's what I'm gonna ask my client, if they can go into DocuSign and put her email in and have
And
Elise's
have it
portion go
sent.
there. Yeah,
Right, and then that way
right.
that can get done. All right, and then in terms of the payment, you have a,
Yeah, I'm not showing record of a payment received for February.
I don't know why you don't, that doesn't make sense. How am I I only need to pay for April.
pardon,
I only need to pay for April.
for April?
Yes.
Okay, how much is your monthly rent?
I don't know how much it is, because it's supposed to be
What do you have her monthly?
$677 for base rent. And then there's this $37 month premium plus water sewer, which fluctuates each month based on usage.
Which I have received something for $400 and something, and they said they were gonna fix that, but I haven't received anything.
Is that for April 1st?
Yeah.
Okay, the sewer for $167.37 and the water for $248.65.
No, it was a total of 4 something. I don't have.
Oh, yeah, combined about 400.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was
so
over
you got,
400.
did you get like an invoice in the mail or like a
No,
stub
she
or
said that
something?
they were gonna adjust it, but I haven't got anything.
Okay.
sent to
Was that
adjust it.
Jen or Dana that you talked to?
There's a
Or
young lady,
Imani?
some young lady.
Imani, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it wasn't Jen.
All right.
Okay, so there might be about a $400 adjustment or something?
For the April water sewer, it looks like. Yeah.
Okay, so then if that were the case, we're at about the 700,
About 1 month rent. Yeah.
about 1 month's rent.
Yeah.
When can that be paid?
I could pay about Monday.
Okay, so how much, let's do it this way so that I'm clear. How much can you pay on Monday? Do you know the dollar amount?
What is it's 7 what?
Well, it's $677 just for the base rent.
Right, and then I gotta add the water.
37. So if you want to just drop off a payment for the just $677.
I can do that.
Okay.
You can do that on Monday? All right.
All right.
So I'm gonna put here 677. Hopefully then they can deal with what may be a credit to the account.
I'll talk to them about the water sewer bill and then the DocuSign and see if
Right.
we could go into DocuSign and read.
Send it over to
Yeah,
me.
have it.
Okay.
Yeah. Was Elise ever on a lease agreement? Did she sign?
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Okay,
we did
okay,
when we
okay, good.
first started,
Okay.
but I don't even know, I
Just
don't know
checking.
how it happened to,
So then
go to
she's
her
on
because
that.
it didn't at first. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything was coming to me.
So then automatically for your renewals, it'll go to her too. So that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'll adjourn this out 1 week, 25th at 3 PM. Get the 677 paid.
Be there.
Let's see if the credit goes through, get the lease thing in, and then we can see if we can get it all resolved. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Judge.
You know, she did start for a minute to yell at me. Did you notice that? Did you notice that? Like I said, I'm sensitive. Nobody's listening. You do the same, man. Court does call the case of Northfield Crossing versus Eugene, is it Rinky?
Rita Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Your name, sir?
Eugene Rankin, sir?
All right. This is your motion to set aside?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Why weren't you here back in February?
Your Honor, I'm very sorry. I went for a job interview and that's what happened.
Okay. So how much is owing at this point?
On the judgment or just the total balance?
Well, on the judgment,
So the judgment was for 2710.86. He has paid $800. So the balance as of today's date with April rent is now back up to 3281.36.
3281.36. All right. So, sir, how are you intending on getting this paid?
I mean, 32, like how? Because I came here and put money, $800 in escrow.
Okay, so do you have
With this motion?
he would have had to, and because I won't hear it otherwise. So 800.
Okay.
So you had 800 that was paid. I have another.
Directly to my client, and then 800 he put into court with us. He put in escrow with the court.
Yes.
Okay,
That's still open.
that would bring it down to like 2,400,
Yeah, somewhere.
if my math is right.
Yeah, 20, well, it's gonna be about 2,500.
Yeah.
Okay, so sir, when are you gonna get, how are you gonna get that paid?
Well, right now I have a $800 here.
So you have another 800?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 2,400 altogether.
Right, so you have 800 there.
Yes, sir.
I have 800 here. So that's 16 off of the 32. Can you help me?
I mean, this is
I
the
have
I'm having.
3281.
You know, I mean, I have mortgage to pay.
So hold on one second. Let's wait for the judge.
1681.
All right, so then there's owing 1681.36. That doesn't, the payments, the three $800 payments don't pay out the judgment. So
No.
You know, what it sent to me was $2,300 something dollars. That was the judgment given the very first time I received a notice. So where did 3,000 come from?
April.
3,000?
I paid.
March and
Go ahead.
March and April rent. So the judgment was taken on February 14th for that amount at that time. March rent, April rent, late fees, water, sewer.
Look, I'm only paying land, fulfilling land rent. I have mortgage to pay as well. I mean, the way you guys blew all these things up is really confusing me because I've tried my best to pay. I've lost my job for a very long time. I have mortgage, I'm paying land rent to them. I'm paying mortgage, and this whole thing keep recycling itself. But the thing is, I will need some time to pay the balance because I still have mortgage to pay and other bills to pay.
Okay,
Some
so
time.
sir, with the 800 that you have there, the 800 I have in escrow, you'll owe 1681.32.
36.
36. Okay, so how much time do you need to pay that off? Because you're gonna have your May rent click in.
You know, I don't have a job. I just got approval to start using my car for Uber. Maybe if you were kind enough, give me like 60 days to pay it off.
I can't do that. I can't give you 60 days.
I don't have any means right now. This money is supposed to be payment for my mortgage, but I want to give it to them so that I can have peace of mind. I just need some time to pay it off.
Sir, then you're gonna have to talk to the landlord. See if you can come up with anything. I can't give you that much time. Pay the $800 to the landlord, okay? Pay that by this Monday. The 800 that you have in your hand, get that over to them by that day. I'll then adjourn this matter out to the 25th, 2025 at 3 p.m. You need to have a plan as to how you're gonna get this paid.
You know, I have a job interview on that 25th. I won't be available.
The whole day?
Yes, sir, because I'm going to be traveling to Boston for the interview.
Okay, I'll let you appear via Zoom, but you've got to be here. I mean, I can't do this without you.
Okay.
All right.
And just to confirm, Judge, the order of eviction is stayed pending for the.
Yes, the
Okay,
order of eviction stayed pending
okay.
that, and if there's a potential plan. Otherwise, I'm going to sign the writ.
We already have a signed writ. We have,
You?
yeah, we do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
we stayed it with the hearings.
Okay.
Right. We'll continue to stay on.
Okay.
All right, but he's got to get the 800.
Paid on Monday. Yep, got it.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Northville Crossing versus Brianna Leverett.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Leverett, not here. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go.
Your Honor, in this matter, I would request entry of a default possession only judgment. I have right to retain in the amount of $2,637.69, cost of $190, total $2827.69, with a writ to issue after April 28th, 2025.
Judgment to the plaintiff, that is by default for possession, redemption amount in the amount requested with the writ issue in 10 days. The court does call the case of Northville Crossing versus Barbara Vargo.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
One of those ones.
Hello.
Hello, what's your name?
Barbara Vargo.
Michael Bargo. Yes, how are you guys doing?
Okay.
It's good to see you. All right, where are we? We're at 1974.
Yep, 1974-34. We were here last week in front of Judge Barr. Ms. Vargo and her husband appeared last week. She reached out to the VA for assistance. I know that she had stated that her husband is currently on SSI and she also started new employment.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr.
Well, I'm not gonna be much help. I'm gonna assist here. I did reach out to Hawk and they directed me in a lot of directions to find help. So I called a lot of phone numbers and that, and I made some headway.
Here, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I can't
He
talk.
had a, I don't know if you remember us.
No, I.
But I know you see a lot of people. So in October of last year, he had a stroke.
I remember.
And yeah, so anyways, he got a hold of the Housing Bureau for Seniors. So they're gonna be working with the VA and
Got it.
myself. And they also said they sent over some kind of
Yeah.
stay of execution. For at least 2 weeks. Till we can figure out the.
I see what you said. They sent over the rental assistance form.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the DC 539?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I couldn't print it
just-
off. We were out of ink in our printer.
Stay of execution.
I was a little confused by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's okay.
That's
You-
what she sort of said over the
You
phone.
know, I get it. Okay, so they're gonna be working, because as I recall, and you'll have to correct me, he's a veteran.
I'm a veteran.
You're the veteran, that's right. You're the veteran, and they were trying to get assistance through the VA.
They're gonna work with me in the VA since the VA helped us out not even a year ago, just up to December of last year. So, but the VA said there is a trust, they might be able to help. Plus, I've gotten a job now. He's getting his social security.
Security, right, because that wasn't where we were the last time.
Right, so, but I just started the job
the beginning of this month. I was looking for something in my profession in IT. It wasn't coming through, so then I got a job as a cashier at Myers. And it's doing great. So,
In life, you do what you gotta do.
right.
Okay. So when, do you know when there might be an answer from the VA or?
The VA just sent me, what they, everything they want, which we've worked together before, so I already have it together. So Monday, because they're not open today, I was going to be going to that office with, I've got everything.
You
and
got everything?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this then. Let me adjourn it out a week to the 25th at 3 p.m. Let's see where you are on that end, because usually they'll take care of the veterans. So we'll see if that can get it done. Okay?
Okay. All right, thank you. It was nice to see you again.
Yeah, good.
You're on.
You know what? Thank you for saying that. It is a blessing seeing you two again. You are looking well.
I'm
Sir.
getting better.
Huh?
I'm getting better.
You're getting better.
Walk
Okay.
better and talk better.
Yeah, well, when you came up, I was actually gonna say that because the last time, well, not the last time, but you weren't really saying a whole lot regarding anything. So when you took off to start talking about it, she stopped you like a wife should. But she stopped you, but you weren't doing that the last time. And so it was good to see that you had the confidence to even do that. So I appreciate it. All right, you guys take care of each other and have a blessed weekend.
God bless you.
Valley Ranch versus Brandon Kuchar.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
And Caroline.
Caroline Mingo is not present. Brandon Kutcher is. Thank you.
Yeah, I remember. Make that very clear. All right.
Mr. Kutcher has submitted payment through MoneyGram. I just have to confirm with my client it's been received.
Both pallets and Valley Ranch were closed today.
Yeah.
So there was no one to confirm my payment.
Okay.
When he called, I got the voicemail from my,
So
yeah.
basically indicate he's paid the full amount.
Yes, I just need to
Okay.
confirm.
So let's do this. Let me put it out a week, 25th, 2025 at 3 p.m. Check with them. If it's paid, you don't need to be here. They're going to dismiss it out anyway.
So much.
Thank you. You do the same. Court calls the case of Whitaker Oaks versus Marjani Green.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
And there's another. Daniel Keener. Yes, ma'am. All right, where are we on this?
Looks like we were here last on 4/4. The defendant had applied for or had an appointment with Hawk on 4/16.
Right. How did that?
I spoke to them. They said that they would cover it. However, when I reached out to my landlord, they told me that they put in for a 30-day notice. So that conflicts with Hawk paying my balance. So they said that if they were willing to extend it, then okay, but otherwise they would do relocation.
You know anything about the 30-day?
I don't. I'm just looking at the ledger. It does look like she was being charged a month-to-month premium.
Yeah.
So she was potentially sent a non-renewal notice, but I don't have any information with me on that. So
All right. But basically your indication from Hawk was that they would help you, but with the 30-day, they can't.
Basically, yes.
All right.
or they would use it as relocation assistance rather than sending it directly to the landlord.
Right.
Yeah. So they would, yeah.
All right, so let me put it out 1 week. Let's figure out exactly where you are, where you're gonna head with this. and then
Okay.
figure out what we're gonna do, okay? 4/25, 2025, 3 p.m.
Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Judge.
Take care. Good weekend. Court calls the case of Whitaker Oaks versus Kristen Davis.
Brianna Kingsley for the plaintiff.
Kristen Davis, no response. Go ahead. I don't need just one.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. In light of the defendant's failure to appear and request entry of a default possession-only judgment, rent to retain $2,261.16, cost of $200 for a total of $2461.16 with a writ to issue after April 28th.
Judgment to the plaintiff. That is by default for possession. Redemption amount is in the amount requested with a writ to issue 10 days. think that's it for you, Ms.
Wow,
All right,
that's it.
not too bad.
No, not too bad, Judge.
All
Have a nice weekend. Enjoy the sunshine.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it sunny out still? All right. Okay, I'll take a brief recess. We'll get set up for our last block and then we'll get you guys called and maybe get you home for Easter. What?
Here at 3 o'clock today, I was late. We haven't started.
We have, trust me, what happened in here, we didn't get to it, so you're good.
Okay.
Okay, we're staying in recess. All right. You may be seated. Court does call the case of Evergreen Apartments versus Ruth Palmore.
For plaintiff, Your Honor, we submitted a CSJ for this matter. Was received in the stated form where withdrawing the request for it.
Okay. I'm satisfied. We're on Vista versus, is it Nadja Washington?
Julian Ingen for plaintiff.
Nadja Washington, no response. Oh, I do have a conditional order dismissal. Is that what you wish the court to enter?
Yes, Your Honor, I see that it was signed with permission by Ms. Washington.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I guess. We can-
Yes.
Your Honor, I would leave it up to your discretion if we need to set this over for another hearing.
I'm not sure why she, well, which hearing is this? This is actually our third hearing.
Sometimes, Your Honor, when I don't know if maybe she misunderstood that she still has to appear.
It has to appear. However, I kind of balance it and looking at it as to if she's not here, I could enter a judgment. And these are much more favorable terms in a judgment, so I'm gonna enter this conditional order dismissal. Case is conditionally dismissed. Huron Vista versus Chanel Brown.
Julian Ingen for plaintiff.
Chanel Brown? Not present. What do you wish to do?
This is the case where we're also looking at entering into a
COD.
COD. I'm looking at it because I think, I believe she appeared at the April 11th hearing.
Yes.
Oh, she thinks that she thought that the whole balance was paid by Alpha House. Let me see if there's been any recent. I do see that there was a recent check in the amount of $3,764, leaving just a balance of $516.44.
Okay.
Going
to put it over a week and.
I think so.
Okay. I'll adjourn this matter April 25th, 2025 at 12 p.m. Let's see where we are on that one. Court does call the case of Huron Vista versus Angie Evans. One that thought she was late. Come on. Hello, what's your name?
Angie Evans.
All right, where are we on this case?
Your Honor, I have a balance of $3,530. I think we had sent a draft conditional order dismissal to our client for review.
I didn't get it yet.
And so I think that they're gonna review it
And see what can come up. All right.
If we go one more week.
One more week out. Okay, young lady, what I'm gonna do is I'll adjourn this to the 25th at 12 noon.
Okay.
Okay, and let's see if we can get this all resolved.
Right.
You have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you. Huron Vista versus Deanna Rogers. Hello,
Hi,
what's your name?
Deanna Rogers.
Okay, where are we on this?
Your Honor, I think that this is a case where a COD is being offered, but there were some issues because the timely payment requirements when they would start, I think there were some issues with determining a date for that, whether that would be well, whether that would be May. Your Honor, we can adjourn for one more week, so we
Okay.
can figure out what.
Figure out what we're, go ahead, ma'am. What do you want to tell?
I've been I'm mentally disabled. I haven't had work in a while. And I'm no longer able to qualify for this, pay for this apartment or whatever. So I was trying to see if I can get 30 days to move.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you have a worker with that?
Yeah, I haven't been able to get no assistance either through nobody. 'Cause they feel like I don't make enough.
You know what? now?
Make enough for the parent.
Okay, so you haven't been able to get assistance. And so did you have an appointment with Hawk on the 2nd?
Yeah.
Okay, what happened with that?
Everybody's basically saying I don't make enough for the apartment.
Oh, that you
I don't-
can't, so that even if they helped you, you couldn't
Right.
keep the apartment.
Right.
Okay, do you get any type of assistance at
I
all?
get SSI.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, how much is that a month for you?
1356.
13. Okay, and I see, and your monthly rent is like 1839. How many people are in your house?
Me and my daughter.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, Ms. Rogers. I'm gonna adjourn it out a week. And then you can talk to your apartment manager and everyone about seeing if there's a way for you to move, okay? Or if they can figure out a way for maybe you to stay, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's do it that way. So April 25th, 2025 at 12 noon, okay? Talk to them and see if they're willing to give you time to move if that's what you decided to do. All right?
You said April 25th at 12?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, you have a good weekend. Glencoe Hills versus Jerome Adams.
Jillian Aiken for plaintiff.
Oh, there he is. Thought I saw you. You were hiding.
How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
State your name.
Always, Jerome Adams.
All right.
Your Honor, we have a certificate of satisfied judgment prepared for the judgment. Mr. Adams did get. We would ask that the court, we just have the issue of escrow. That would be released to plaintiff. The current balance on Mr. Adams's account is $66.47.
And I got 65 in escrow.
Oh, you got 66?
Huh?
66.
I have. Oh, no, I do. I have 66.50 in escrow. He came and paid $1 for. Hey, you're right. I didn't see the $1.50 receipt. All right, so the judge isn't satisfied. We'll release the escrow to the plaintiff. And then that will close this case. Judgment satisfied.
All right, thank you.
All right, you take care, young man. Case of Hamilton Crossing versus Tiffany Roots. Hello, what's your name? All right, where are we with her case?
Your Honor, I have a balance including court costs of $936.
936? Okay.
What was the additional cost? I have a receipt saying 660. What was the additional cost?
Did they not include court costs?
I don't think they included court costs.
That's what it sounds like to me.
That was added on the 18th.
Every time. you
Okay,
think you're
don't,
getting close.
just don't.
Okay, so I had an approval from DHHS to pay the 640 that was
Right.
owed. But when they went to pay it, the paperwork said a much higher amount because I had been paying it down. So they had me to withdraw the application. They want me to come back when I have a document saying that I owe the correct amount that I owe, because they said they cannot pay it if it says a different amount on the documentation. The original documentation said 2,400. I paid it all the way down until
The six.
all the way down to $640, which is the amount that they would cover. So because I couldn't get that from the leasing office in time, they told me to just simply withdraw, so they didn't have to deny it again. So that's where I'm at with that. The worker told me to get another document with the correct amount, submit it, and they will try to have it paid within 7 days. So the only amount is owed is just simply what they would pay off in court costs.
But, okay, but if you go there, you have 3 people in your house?
Yes.
Okay, so, but if you go there with a document of 936, are they gonna deny it?
No, I'll pay off the court costs, whatever.
Oh, okay, you'll pay the difference.
Yes, I'll pay the difference. I could pay that today. I just need whatever the document is they said that I have to have a document saying if I don't pay this amount, I'll be, and it has to be the correct amount because the amount was incorrect. Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Okay. So how do we want to do this and where does she get the document?
Your Honor, I can give Ms. Roots my email address, and so she can copy me on an email, and then I can.
Try to work that through. Because I know she got it down to that, because she was working to get it down to 620 or 640, whatever.
I
And
think you were including the court costs here in court, but not.
on the, okay. So here's what we'll do. Let me adjourn this out a week to the 25th at noon.
Okay.
Now, have you withdrawn it already or?
Yes, I withdrawn the application. They told me if I didn't withdraw, they would deny it. So I just.
Got it. Okay, that's right. So if you can get that, pay that other amount, they'll pay it, and then,
I'll be clear.
Do
right.
they need a ledger showing once the balance is down, or or
No.
with this saying that it's $936?
No, I've turned in a ledger already. They need a court-ordered document. That's what they said. I need something from the court. And if I don't pay this amount, I will be, it has to say I'll be
No,
evicted.
they can't do that to you. That's just, I'm just, no, I know what they
to
told
do.
you, but that's wrong.
Okay.
You don't, because the only court order document that I'd issue would be a judgment saying that amount.
Okay, but do you issue something from the courts that will show the correct amount? Whatever it is?
I don't.
Because I've turned,
I could offer to do a consent judgment that would be set aside if paid in full, and it would be, that there would be no route without a hearing.
No, I know, and I just hate,
Reward their best.
yeah, I just don't, they're giving people wrong information, and I don't.
it's a hassle because I have to continuously take off work. It's just a hassle, but if they're gonna pay it, then I'll,
No, I got you. But you don't, but I can't, the problem is that if she goes over there, if I do that today and she goes over there with the 936, I don't want them saying
Oh.
that's not the amount.
Right. I wonder, Your Honor, if.
Let me ask you this.
I wonder if I can get my client to agree to a conditional order of dismissal with terms saying that, Ms. Roots would pay this much.
You're right. Ms. Roots, let me ask you this. The court costs, you have that with you now or no?
Yes,
Is it cash?
no, I can get cash.
Okay, but we're closed at some point. Because what I was gonna do is I was gonna have her pay that into escrow, issue the judgment for the 620. I'd have the escrow.
How much time do I have before you close?
Well, we won't be able to get it processed at 4:30. We'd have to have it processed by. Let's do this. Pay everything but that amount. Prepare the judgment for this. I have 620, but you say it's 640?
No, the receipt says 660.
Is that what they said they pay?
They pay 640.
So-
640.
Your Honor, I have. Okay, let me look.
Here's what I'm gonna do. Give me a judgment for you said 640?
Yeah.
Give me a judgment that just says 640. I'm not gonna sign that no, I'll sign it. If I sign it now without having that other amount.
Your Honor, can I put under further orders defendant to pay whatever into court escrow?
Yeah, why don't we do this? Yeah, why don't we do it that way? So Ms. Root, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do a consent judgment that they'll set aside. If something happens, whatever, won't be evicted, they have to come back before me before anything like that's gonna happen, okay?
Okay.
Under further orders, she's gonna put that the defendant is to deposit court cost in the court escrow.
Your Honor, it is slightly more than court costs.
It is.
It's about $120.
What is that for? What's the additional cost?
So, okay, so I mean, we can look at the ledger if we want to, take that time. I have that. Let me just pull up the last.
936, they were gonna pay. So I got about 300.
Last hearing, I have a balance of $2,081.11.
Correct.
Okay. It shows, that's because it would have included court. 1905. Okay, yep. So that would have been 1905 plus court costs. Then I see there was a $500 payment made and a $645 payment.
Correct.
So taking those off from that 1905, that leaves $760. Plus court cost is $936.
I have a receipt that shows $660. If you give me a second, I'll show you. They did something wrong. Something is there. Okay, we can work that out later. I just want to.
Okay,
We can
let's
work it out
do this.
We can adjourn it one more week, Your Honor.
Yeah, I can adjourn it a week, but the problem is,
Your Honor, we could always submit a consent judgment to the court in the meantime. The court has heard the terms would be the
Yeah.
same, and then there would still be no, without a hearing, it would still be set aside once paid in full, and it would be, we could even do probably 2 weeks from the date.
I have 1 week, and because of judicial conferences, I have
On the judgment instead of.
Got it.
10 days. That would be 2 weeks to go.
to give time for everything to happen. Okay.
And so why don't we do that? Here's my email address. Let me.
And you just want me to put it out a week? Okay. So what I'll do is I'll put this out a week. You guys can work on a consent judgment, look at what that is. You'll be able to get the paperwork to allow you to do what you need to do with DHS. All right?
Okay.
The check will be that I have this, but if you need to appear via Zoom, then you can appear via Zoom. I don't want you taking up any more work or anything like that. And let's see if we can get DHHS to pay my monthly meeting that I have with them. I think on the 7th, I'm gonna yell at them again about telling folks this.
Yeah.
That's what's worth it.
Like this, I don't understand why they didn't just approve it and allow me to pay the difference, whatever the difference is, you know? I think it was only like a $20 difference. You know,
No,
Yeah.
You're preaching to the choir, and I know you've worked hard to get this down.
okay.
And there's a copy of what the judgment would be to say, look it over.
Okay, so I can submit this, right?
No,
No?
there has to be somebody to judge it.
Oh,
And this isn't actually what we're agreeing on. You see, I haven't signed it, but this
Okay.
is just so you can see the terms. Once you get that down, once you paid from 936 down to the 640, let me know. I'll get a letter from my client just to confirm. We'll submit a judgment for $640.
And then you'll be able to get that judgment, and then you'll be all set.
Yeah.
Sure, have a great weekend. New Park Ridge Apartments versus Treasurer Wallace Douglas. That better be you, because I got one file. Your name?
Treasurer Wallace Douglas.
All right. And where are we with her case?
Your Honor,
This is her motion to set aside.
I have an amount remaining on the judgment of $811, but I don't know if that, I think that would not include any amounts, if there were any amounts paid to escrow.
There is not.
She did not. You have how much owing on the judgment? 8?
I have, 811 remaining on the judgment. I do have a current balance of $1,489. And Your Honor, looking at the judgment, I don't see where there was good cause for meritorious defense.
Yes. All right. All right, what do you want to tell me? You're looking to set aside the judgment.
Yes, so I just was a little mixed up when Hawk assisted me via our phone conversation, the phone conversation that I had with the worker. I was under the assumption that she was going to pay the past balance as well as March. And I did miss my you adjourned it. It was my first court date was the 28th of February. And I missed, you adjourned it to March 7th. I missed that court date, just assuming that it was gonna be paid and I had to work. So I did go to work that day, and then I actually ended up calling legal aid, trying to get some information on how to put my rent in escrow, because there's a lot of things that need to be done with my apartment that they're not doing. So when I finally did, she's the one that told me that an eviction was put in. So I was just advised to do that, the stay. And here we
Okay,
are.
so she owes how much on the judgment? 8?
$811.
And I did go and give them a money order for $669, but they told me to come and pick it up. They emailed me and told me that they don't take money from people who are in eviction status.
Okay.
The rental office, that I have an email that states that. So this was confusing as to why if I'm in
So-
eviction, why you don't want my money?
Yeah. So you took them a money order for $669.
Sir?
They didn't take it.
They took it, they weren't there, so I put it in a Dropbox, and then I got an email stating to come pick it up because.
Did you pick it up?
Do you mind if I get my phone so I can just get the dates?
Sure.
Okay.
I know that there was a miscommunication with our client, Your Honor, and we since straightened that out, I believe. So I just want to check.
You mean in terms of taking
of accepting
payment?
Oh. Okay, give me 1 second.
But I would be interested in knowing if that's.
That was April 9th.
So April 9th, you put it in the Dropbox with the 8th or something like that?
What date was the 9th?
The 9th was a Wednesday.
So I think I put it in on that Monday.
So you put it in on the 7th, then you get an email on the 9th saying they won't take your money.
Yes.
And she would be so let me ask you this, if they take your 669 and your 811 from the judgment, how are you gonna get the rest of this paid off?
So what is the total that I owe? Because like I said, I didn't know anything.
Okay. That's
I'm
okay.
just kind of confused.
So what was the total amount?
$1,489.
That's what you owe right now.
Okay.
There'd be about $142 left on the judgment.
After the 660.
Oh, I can
So-
get it. I mean, like, I do work, but I work for Michigan Athletics, so it's like a slow season, but I work, so I can get that $100 to them the same time I give them the 669.
Okay,
Maybe a
so what was it? Okay, let's do it this way. What was the total amount on the judgment?
Total amount was $1,817.
Right, but the total amount left owing, I'm sorry.
Sorry, 811.
All right. So, ma'am, here's what I need you to do. With the 669 and other funds, you need to get $811 to the landlord next week.
Okay.
Okay, on Monday.
Yes, sir.
All right. So get that to them on Monday. What is that? The 21st? All right, get that to them on the 21st. I'm going to adjourn this out to the 25th.
I also have here in this email, she says that I owe $14.81. So they don't communicate, and it's really hard to know what's going on.
Okay. All right. There's been late fees applied. All right,
Okay.
but I hear you. Okay, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work it through piece by piece at this point. So what I'm gonna adjourn this to April 25th, 2025 at noon. You pay the 811. Come back next Friday. Let's figure out how we're gonna try to get the rest of this done. Okay? But for you right now, I need you to pay the 811. And Amy has arisen. I haven't heard from her all day.
Your Honor, I just want to verify that the 1,006 was received and applied to her account.
Yes, I have it. I see that $1,006 was applied. Is that yeah, that was applied on March 11th.
Got it.
Your Honor, I would just ask if the plaintiff could reserve the right to amend.
Yes, to amend the judgment. And that's why I say, let's get this part taken care of. And then there might be an amended judgment that's going to include basically your April rent. Or if we click into May, it may include that, but we'll work those numbers out. Let's just get this taken care of.
Sure.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. Also, I may have to work next Friday. So, you know,
She wants to appear via Zoom.
please.
No, so she got a name treasure. I'm gonna make her come down. No, all right. I'll tell you what, I'll let you fill out a Zoom form.
Thank you. And if I don't have to work, I can come in. But
Okay, all right, but I got you. I understand. All right, will that work for you?
it works. I appreciate
All
it.
right, not a problem. You have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Happy Easter.
And to
Everybody.
you. Is that it for us? 14A.